Hello and welcome to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host, Evan Teague, and with me, like always, is Noah Bailey. If you're new to the show, this is a podcast where Noah and I talk about all of the nerdy stuff from the past week. And last week, I ended the show by saying that there's going to be an Aquaman trailer, and we should maybe be looking forward to that. I meant that in the sense that we weren't sure how this trailer was gonna be, so like you should maybe look forward to the trailer itself. I didn't mean a trailer would maybe happen, because the trailer was not actually shown at WonderCon on the 24th, like many people thought it would be. Um, I'm not necessarily gonna say this is a bad thing per se, because like honestly you know how we feel about Aquaman. Like, I don't care. Noah doesn't care. So, like, realistically speaking, like, I don't, I don't feel any worse for being in a world without an Aquaman trailer. And I don't think actually being in a world with an Aquaman trailer would actually be, necessarily be a good one to be in. But one thing I do want to pose to you, Noah, is that does the fact that they haven't shown an Aquaman trailer yet, do you think that means anything for the movie itself?
Well, I think that the fact that they pulled the trailer it means one of two things.
Mm-hmm.
Either one, they're like, look, people still are like on the fence because our last movie, a la
On the
Justice
fence,
League,
okay.
was yeah. Let's putting it lightly. Let's
Yeah,
putting it
okay,
lightly.
okay.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, Justice League did not do as well as expected, obviously.
Mhm.
And Aquaman was not exactly one of the better portions of this movie. So, bringing in, all right, guys, you asked for him. Here's more Aquaman. And literally no one asked. But,
Yeah. Like
I mean, yeah.
before Justice League even came out, I was heavily questioning why Aquaman in the first place, because in every single iteration of the Justice League, as far as I know, Justice League, Justice Society of America, Justice League of America, just every New 52, every single iteration has not had Aquaman. Some have had Shazam, some have had Cyborg, some have had Martian Manhunter, one of the Hawks. None of them have had Aquaman. Yet all of a sudden, Justice League thinks the movie Justice League we're getting thinks, oh, Aquaman is the character everyone wants to see in the big screen, so let's shove him into Justice League. So I don't know why they thought that.
And it's not like Aquaman was like this, like, oh, really underrated character that everyone really like. I mean, it's common, like in the nerd world,
Mm,
it's common. Aquaman's not the go-to. He's not your second choice. He's not
no,
your third choice. He's the guy you pick when everyone else is taken. Like,
yeah, like it's it's not necessarily a bad idea to have an Aquaman movie, especially since the perception of Aquaman isn't exactly the highest and it never has been. I mean,
mhm.
just take the Aquaman from Super Friends in what, the 60s. Like, people still think of Aquaman as that pathetic guy who only talks to fish, even though nowadays he's pretty much just as strong as Superman. He can control water, he can control the weather, his his trident can shoot lasers, he can control giant sharks. He apparently has this ability where, like, if he touches you, he can drain all the water out of your body and you die instantly. Like,
Wait, say what? I've not actually seen that.
yeah, it's I think it might be a New 52 thing, but like, it's called the Aquaman's Death Touch. It, yeah, so like he's actually is really powerful and actually has a pretty
Yeah.
significant power set. So it would make sense to try to put a character like this into this more serious universe that Man of Steel birthed. But the movie directly after Justice League, before you have a Superman 2, before you have Batman, before you have a Flash, even Cyborg, I would say, would be a better movie to have after Justice League, right?
I, I mean, Okay, I got to the cyborg thing. I don't think so because I mean I'm a big thing like cyborg. No offense, I love Cyborg as like a Teen Titan, but I
Oh,
don't think Cyborg deserves his own movie, especially not this Cyborg because I'm not watching that.
I mean, I wouldn't either, but like thematically speaking, I feel Cyborg has a stronger connection to what is going on in this universe as opposed to Aquaman, who's
Okay,
just kind
that
of
is
there.
that is true. I don't maybe for like storytelling purposes, but like as for like actual character,
Mm,
like like this Cyborg was very like like the cool thing about Cyborg is he's half machine, but his personality is all human. This
yeah,
Cyborg personality is like I'm talking to Siri. Like it's literally just like ugh.
and I get it. This movie was supposed to, introduce him and supposed to show him opening up to the world more. But that's not what we want from Cyborg. We want
Mm,
to see him be emphatically say "booyah" and like
yeah,
mess around with Beast Boy or even like Flash in some
right.
contexts and like pull pranks on people and like be because he's a teenager and essentially he'll forever be a teenager in a robot's body. Maybe college age, but still like he's still like relatively a kid compared to these
Yeah.
other heroes. So it makes this type of character just doesn't really work in the Justice League.
Mm,
But still, which is what makes it even weirder for me to say that for me personally, I feel a Cyborg movie would make more sense following Justice League as opposed to Aquaman. Would I actually want it? No, I wouldn't watch that. Like, who would his villain be?
feel his villain could be like a virus or like malware. I don't know.
I guess the Brother Blood storyline, although
That
like that's not really a that's a Teen Titan thing. Like,
yeah, it's more about all of them, not just the cyborg by himself.
yeah, like Cyborg in the Teen Titans show that essentially closed Cyborg's big arc of that season, but
Hmm.
still, it's a team effort, and Cyborg works well on a team, but not the Justice League.
Yeah. Yeah, I was never a huge fan of them just kind of like graduating. Like even in like the animated like movies that they've made
Mm,
recently, I'm not really a fan of like Cyborg just being a Justice League member,
yeah.
especially when they have a Teen Titans. Like
Hmm.
it's kind of just like why?
Yeah, and like that's a New 52 thing. Like
Yeah.
he wasn't a Justice League member until the New 52, I believe.
Hmm.
Maybe he was like a cross member at best, but like he never founded the Justice League. He was never a core member.
No.
Yet for some reason the movie felt him and Aquaman were more important than Martian Manhunter, Hawkman and
Green,
Hawkgirl,
a
uh,
good Green
Green
Lantern.
Lantern, yeah. Even Shazam, who we're actually getting a movie of relatively soon, but still, these characters are more vital to the universe as a whole. Like, just and so yeah, I don't know if I just don't know if Justice League believes in this Aquaman movie. Yeah, I don't know if they believe in this movie at this point. Like,
I don't.
right?
I feel like they know. I feel like they know, and just like they're like, look, all right, guys, this movie's not going to be great. Not a lot of people like they know this movie's not going to do well. Like
Yeah,
no one is like marking their calendar for Aquaman at
yeah.
all.
Like,
And
I'm sure they thought, okay, Justice League did terribly. Thor
mm,
Ragnarok outdid Justice League,
oh
which I
yeah,
mean, Thor Ragnarok is a great movie, but that's a movie that just has Thor and Hulk in it, as opposed to the entirety of the Justice League.
mm,
um, so they're probably thinking, okay, Justice League, our most hyped movie ever. BVS was maybe more hyped, but still, theoretically, Justice League should have been their most hyped movie ever. Even if
right.
Aquaman is decent, it's not what should come next.
This is true. I mean, maybe. I mean, like theoretically, you obviously want a Batman movie next because
Mhm.
Batman obviously is the most important
Yeah,
character. So I mean, why not have a Batman movie, especially when we're still kind of like trying to fill in the pieces with this Batman character. Plus, you've got these, You got this Batgirl movie and all these other
Well,
like
that was
Batman,
canceled,
but
but yeah.
yeah, I mean, but I mean, at the time,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they're planning these things out, and I'm like, okay, so you got all this planned, but like you haven't even set up this core character that these other characters have to work off of in order to work. So it's like, what are you
We're
doing?
getting a Deathstroke movie before we're getting a Batman movie.
That's what
How
I'm
does that make
saying.
sense?
Like that's what I'm saying. And it's not like this is like an origin like Batman. Like Batman's been around
20
apparently
years.
for 20 years. He's on his second. Ooh,
oh.
So I hate these lights. They turn off automatically. But no, like literally, it's like we're all like it's Batman. He's like, I mean, he's between his second and third Robin at this point. So like he's been doing this for some time.
Which like I don't personally agree with introducing the Justice League's Batman as been doing this for countless years, like 5 years at the max. I feel should be him when he starts doing Justice League stuff. Like maybe his first Robin.
Yeah, and
like maybe Nightwing had just become Nightwing, then he become Justice.
Yeah, that would make sense. And like it was so weird how like some people in Gotham were like, "Oh, Batman's not real." I'm like, okay, if he's been doing it for 20 years, we know Batman's real at this point. There shouldn't be.
Yeah, and I get it. That was like a newer cop. And that was kind of an allusion to that one scene in Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do illusion, do them right. Have Batman, not be Batman for a while after Jason Todd died. Have him go on hiatus for 10 years, then come back when Superman came back. The pieces were there for you to actually make it work, yet you just didn't. Like, it would have been so easy to make this type of Batman work in this universe. Having Superman come and be the reason Batman come out of retirement, but nope, they didn't do that.
They're like, nah, we'll just make Batman do that. We're like, but that makes no sense. But it's Batman, so it's okay. And we're just like,
it's also not okay when you show the best scene of your movie in the trailer, therefore giving no reason for you to want to see the movie anymore.
And the scene is arguably better in the trailer because you don't know the context. But I digress. So
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. One interesting thing is that I'm pretty sure every single DC movie, at least since BVS, actually I think including BVS, their trailer, the first trailer was shown at least 6 months before the movie came out. BVS, I think, was shown like March of 2015, I think.
Something like that. Like pretty
it was
early.
Really early.
Yeah, they were getting everybody like, whoa, get ready, guys, it's going down. Yeah. And everyone's like,
The first couple of trailers weren't bad, and that third one had Doomsday as a stinger. I'm like, no. Why? What are you doing?
Like, I didn't even know it was Doomsday at first. I was like, what is that? And I was like, oh no. Like I was so disappointed. I'm like, no, he looks so wrong, and like, because I mean, it looks nothing like the character.
Yeah. And then Suicide Squad's trailer was shown. I think its first one was shown I think it was shown like a month before BVS came out, because then they rushed out a second one real quick right after BVS started tanking.
Right. They're like, it's okay. We got more movies. I'm like, oh, maybe this one will be better. Spoiler alert.
But, ironically, both the trailers that they showed, that they released right after BVS, because Justice League's its first like test footage trailer was shown right after the very next weekend after BVS came out, like similar to Suicide Squad. Like, hey, look, we have more stuff coming. This will be good. Arguably, both the movies they showed are actually worse. Like, I personally feel Justice League is technically a better movie. Like, it's not good, but like,
but not substantially better. Not like, oh, you made up for it good. Like, it's like, okay, that's kind of the right direction.
Like,
but
essentially, I left the theater not feeling betrayed, as opposed to me leaving a Suicide Squad and BVS feeling just awful about what happened. Justice League, I at least felt a little better and actually like for a short maybe 2 hours, I actually kind of liked it.
I mean, I kind of left Justice League. I'm kind of like, there was so like, I'm like, this movie did not like. You're like, this made no. I'm just kind of like saying like, okay, did that make sense? And I'm like leaving the theater trying to like put everything together. Okay, was that? I was like this was a long kind of like a lot of the stuff in this movie did not need to happen.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and that's
Like,
the case for BVS, especially in
yeah,
that
oh,
stupid director's cut that was over 3 hours. Like, no,
oh,
you don't need that.
it's just no, 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 no. It's just adding like more is not always a good thing, especially
Mhm.
when it's more of the problem, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Like,
Which is why I believe the Snyder cut is not actually a good idea to even like want it, because who knows if the Snyder cut is actually good. WB, like, I don't necessarily agree with their idea to arbitrarily shorten Justice League down to 2 hours just because. I
mm-hmm.
felt that like giving it maybe 20 more minutes to kind of explain itself a little better would have been useful. But clearly they saw something in Justice League that was a big no. Like,
Yeah.
this does not need to be released in the state it is. It needs substantial reshoots. It needs to be shortened so that people can at least, walk out of the theater with the idea in their head. At least it was short. That's one
At
good thing
least
about it. It's this short.
at least I have that extra half hour of my life back.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, and it's like if you had given them that more time, I mean, there's absolutely no guarantee they would have used it well. They probably
Mhm.
just would have added more things that didn't matter, or just,
Yeah.
some arbitrary fact or reference that no
Hmm.
one really cares about or doesn't really matter because it doesn't affect the story anyway.
Yeah. Because every single deleted scene or deleted storyboard idea that we keep seeing from the supposed Snyder cut is just stuff that wouldn't affect anything. There's a whole bunch of dream sequences. The black suit that he didn't actually end up wearing.
Mm,
Apparently, Batman knows two random Green Lanterns like that aren't Hal Jordan or John Stewart, and they apparently were gonna. They were apparently the big guns that Batman was referring to, or something like that. Like, there's a bunch of stuff from the storyboards and other deleted scenes that just don't add anything, that if they actually were in the movie, they'd only be there for fan service, and that's
mm,
not a reason to make the movie longer than it needs to be.
no. Just trying to make more money, like, and not like in terms of people saying, but like, oh, but we have this and that and that. Let me throw these things at you, and maybe some of it will stick. And it's
Yeah,
just like, no, we don't want.
yeah.
No.
And going back to Aquaman, I honestly feel they WB, even like I said, even if this movie is decent, because like the director who's behind it is actually a pretty decent director,
Mm,
but they probably are looking at this movie and like, this movie isn't bad, but it's not going to make us money. It's not going to be even Suicide Squad levels, which I think did about 750 million, maybe
okay.
760, but still, it didn't break 800 million, which is not really where you want the first couple movies in your universe in the
It's
era
just some,
of big superhero movies to be at.
yeah.
They're thinking this might, maybe break 500 million, if even. Like, they're probably they're probably just kind of weary about it, especially since it's
Hmm.
Aquaman. People didn't love him in Justice League.
Right.
His scenes, just the water physics scenes, weren't really fleshed out. They didn't look finished. Um, and after Justice League tanked, they just don't have confidence in this universe anymore. So I just don't know. Like, I honest, like, legitimately, I don't think this will happen, but I legitimately would not be surprised if at this point they just outright cancel this movie.
Right now,
Yeah,
like this late in the game, like
I
we go
wouldn't be
from.
surprised.
I don't
It,
think they're gonna cancel this one, but this might be the last movie we have for a while if they don't just like shut the thing down after this. Because
yeah,
like, I mean, look, the Flash thing's gone through how many directors and all
they
this stuff,
they
and
have directors now, but there's no date for the movie to come out.
See, because they're probably redoing the whole movie again,
Hmm.
and like I mean, and like you got all these future, and that's the thing. They announced all these projects, and it's like you have nothing done,
Hmm.
nothing to show for, and nothing says these are going to be good. You've got one good movie in your whole franchise.
Again, Man of Steel is like decent at best
That's what I'm saying.
sometimes.
Like it did okay because it's Superman, and it was the first one, so it's like sure we'll give it a shot. But like other than Wonder Woman, all these other movies
Mhm.
woefully underwhelming,
Yeah.
like extremely.
Like calling BVS divisive is giving that movie too much credit. Calling Justice League divisive, calling Suicide Squad divisive is giving those movies too much credit.
Yeah.
Ugh. And the main reason I'm kind of iffy on whether or not this movie is even coming out is because, like I said, WB has a habit of showing trailers well in advance.
Hmm.
At least six. Like I think there hasn't been a single movie that's come out that hasn't had a trailer within 9 months of its release. This we're cut like March to December is about 9 months.
Right.
The 24th of March would have been the perfect time, to start before Avengers comes out. You needed this trailer to come out before Avengers. And if it didn't come out at a convention, I don't really know where they're planning on releasing it. Like, I guess they could do like some trailers do, where like they release on one of the like a Jimmy Fallon type thing, or maybe like
Hmm.
uh ABC morning show like type.
Something. Yeah.
But that just doesn't. I just don't know if WB like really knows what they're doing specifically with this movie, but with the universe as a whole at this point.
Oh, I mean, they're lost. They know. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, you're essentially gonna lose your Batman, who's supposed to be your cornerstone of the
Mm-hmm.
franchise, because it's Batman.
Yeah.
And if Batman drops out, everyone's thinking, all right, ship is sinking.
Yeah.
Our captain just walked out. Something's
And
wrong.
it'd be one thing if, clearly Ben Affleck is planning on leaving, or at
Mm.
least that's the heavy rumors. It'd be one thing if Superman, the other cornerstone of WB, was actually getting movies. But for some reason, these WB they haven't planned a Man of Steel 2 yet. Like, they had it at one point, but they just haven't talked about it since. In theory, what they should have. And, like, the craziest thing about all this is they planned for Aquaman to be the movie that came out after Justice League back
Mm.
in 2015, before all this nonsense happened. They thought Aquaman would be the movie to come out after Justice League 3 years ago, and they didn't change anything.
I mean, they were obviously for some reason kicking off their last two movies to be just like, great stuff. But of course they're trash. And it's like, no, like, okay, so like think of it enter like a Marvel standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like when I first heard Ant-Man was coming out, I'm like, okay, Ant-Man is no one's favorite superhero, but it's a Marvel movie, so I'll
Yeah,
check it out. So I
yeah,
think that's what they were kind of banking it off of. They're like, okay, if we have a history of good movies, even if it's a low interest character, people still enjoy it. But
but
since these last movies have sucked, it's like,
the problem is that DC doesn't have the best track record when it comes to movies.
right,
Like, Superman Returns was supposed to be the start of the DCU. It just kind of didn't. Or it was supposed to be the start of some, expanded DC universe back in
something.
2006.
Yeah.
Green Lantern obviously was trash. The only good movies are the Batman, Christopher Nolan movies
Yeah.
you know, but those weren't even really set in a comic book universe. Those were set in a more realistic universe, so you can't
Right.
even say that those are connected to this.
No, they're not even in the same like universe setting, so it doesn't work. But
Yeah. So them being so confident in Aquaman in 2015 after they know they have a spotty track record, why not do the Marvel thing and have at least two movies come out in one year? because the main reason Ant-Man worked is because it came out in July after Avengers Age of Ultron came
Mm-hmm.
out that May. Now, say what you
Right.
want about that movie, but it's still a pretty solid movie. And you go from Age of Ultron, which was, pretty solid. It made over $1 billion. Go into Ant-Man. It didn't really matter how good Ant-Man did. It didn't really matter how well it was received because this character was still going to be used in future movies. This movie, even if it made only 200 million, it would still be subsidized by the bankroll they got out of
Right.
Avengers. So it was really no risk in putting Ant-Man right there, sandwiched between Age of Ultron and Civil War. There was no reason not to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when you have Aquaman coming out in December, after over a year after Justice League, and you planned that 3 years in advance, why not have like a Batman or Man of Steel 2 in the summer or even the spring? I just don't understand
Sometime.
why they didn't plan better.
I don't know. That is kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe because they maybe since December like isn't Star Wars month for the first time
But
in years.
they
Maybe
didn't
they.
know that.
I
They didn't
know,
know
but
that.
it's I know, but like I'm trying to somehow like logically give them some credit, even though there is none to give. But like I don't know, because December is basically up for grabs this year. So it's
Yeah,
like
I guess. I mean, I guess its only real competition is Wreck It Ralph
it's
in
like
November.
November. Yeah,
That's kind of like
which
mid-November, but still, I wouldn't be surprised if Wreck It Ralph is still like kind of tailing it in December. Like
mhm.
Aquaman comes out and it doesn't do significantly better than Wreck It Ralph does.
Oh no, Wreck-It Ralph's gonna definitely. Aquaman is not. I unless they just like knock it out of the park. Like unless this is like Wonder Woman level, which it
Mm.
won't be. But unless this is like ridiculously good, there's no
Yeah,
chance Aquaman's gonna even beat out Wreck-It Ralph,
yeah,
let alone any other Disney related movie this
mm-hmm.
year. Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Depending on how Wrinkle in Time's doing, I heard that wasn't great, but
Yeah. Wrinkle in Time. It's I think. Well, obviously it couldn't get number one because Black Panther is
yeah,
still killing it. But like,
yeah.
it's not doing bad, but it's definitely not doing as good as it probably could have done. But that's
Yeah.
not like part of that is due to it being, you know, Disney essentially competing with itself at
Yeah,
this
it's like,
point.
like the only reason it's like, oh, like when one of your kids can't be the valedictorian because your other son's the valedictorian, it's kind of like, well, you're still smart. It's
Yeah.
not, not everyone's
Yeah.
prodigy, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But like what they could have done to, quell some of these worries is have a trailer on March 24th to, getting us talking positively about this movie. But nope, they decided to pull it instead and show nothing. Not even like screenshots or behind the scene footage or anything. They showed
Mhm.
nothing, which is only bad press, right?
I mean, I think they're gonna push it back to next year, honestly.
Aquaman, I
Yeah.
I think, and we'll talk about this next movie in a second, but I think Shazam and Wonder Woman 2 are both scheduled for 2019.
Right.
So Shazam being scheduled for March, I think, which is actually kind of funny because Captain Marvel is scheduled for March also. So both Captain Marvel movies are coming out like within weeks of each other.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. And then Wonder Woman, I think, is that November? Okay, so like I guess theoretically, if they did want to push it back, they could push it into the summer. Well, like put it. Uh, God, when is Disney not releasing a movie next year?
Oh my
Because
goodness.
Avengers 4, the untitled Avengers movie, is coming out in
Right.
May. There's some untitled Pixar movie coming out in June, I think. There's Spider-Man.
Homecoming too.
No,
Or is it?
is it Spider-Man 2 or is it there's so many Marvel movies coming out. There's one other Marvel movie coming out either in July or November. That might be Spider Man.
Probably. Let me see. I'm looking. I think it is Spider-Man, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, this is gonna be
So
like.
so I guess June would be their best bet. Like late June.
I mean, maybe, but like trying to squeeze it in, and like maybe that might mess with like their timetable with other movies because who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't know, but I mean, they're holding back their trailer, which is something they usually don't do. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's why I'm so worried about. I feel like they're just gonna push it back and just like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like
They don't.
if this were a BVS situation where they showed like four different trailers the week after, because they showed two Lego Batman trailers, Suicide Squad and Justice League trailers like in quick succession throughout the week after they realized BVS had the worst Friday to Monday dip of any movie ever.
Mhm.
Or is that any movie since Batman and Robin, maybe? Still.
Just being mentioned in the same sentence as that movie is an atrocity in its
Yeah.
own. Like
And
that
like,
is bad.
yeah. And granted, by law of diminishing returns, there's no possible way that Justice League could have that much of a drop off because it didn't do that well to begin with. Like,
When it's
when you only make
physically
96
impossible.
million to begin with, you can't really have much of a drop off from that.
Worst case scenario, you're not that bad.
Yeah.
Uh,
So, like, if this were a BVS situation, and WB, what they should have done was realize, hey, Justice League isn't doing all that well, but maybe people connected well to Aquaman. Maybe we can throw a trailer or like throw some footage from Aquaman the week after just to satiate people because that's what they did with Justice League and other movies. I don't.
mhm.
Maybe they should have done that, or I. I don't know. I don't honestly. I don't know what their plan is at this point with anything.
I mean, it's. I don't think they know. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think they're just like, okay, guys, what are we gonna do? Because our universe is crumbling,
Mm,
and we're just gonna. I mean, I think they're like, I think they get out after Wonder Woman 2. I think they're done
mm,
straight up, like the whole thing.
yeah. And so one thing that like I actually am kind of intrigued about this universe is Shazam. Because they revealed the logo for Shazam at WonderCon, I think, but not the Aquaman trailer. So I guess they have more faith in Shazam than Aquaman, which like I personally wouldn't too. But
I think it's
that's just
because
me.
the costume got so much like positive feedback because
Yeah.
like when those yeah because people were like, oh yeah, it's so comic
Mm-hmm.
book authentic, oh it looks just like the TV show, like so people were
Yeah.
really into that, so maybe that's why.
Mm-hmm. And like it was funny because people from far away it looks very action figurey, but close up there's a
Hmm.
lot of detail on it,
Yeah.
and it'll look better on IMAX and whatnot.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah. So Shazam actually maybe will be interesting. So that's at least one outside of Wonder Woman 2, which surely is going to be good because it's Patty Jenkins. I have no
Yeah.
reason to think. I have no reason to believe at this point that she isn't a good director. I
Yeah.
have no reason to believe that Wonder Woman 2 isn't going to be at least decent,
Yeah.
at least as good as the first one.
Yeah. I mean, as long as Cheetah's not terrible, not saying
Yeah.
she will be by any means, but as long as she's not terrible, it should be fine.
Yeah. So having Shazam, the only problem is coming out in the same month or like a couple of weeks out from Captain Marvel, which again I don't really know that much about Captain Marvel, but still because it's Marvel, because they have a good track record, I'm going to see that movie.
Yeah.
If they come out in the same weekend, I'm
Oof.
going to see Captain Marvel.
Yeah, and I mean, especially like, I mean, it's a female lead superhero. I mean, like,
Has Nick Fury in
less
it.
like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's got all the sides are going to point to Marvel. So, like, if you try to compete one on one, I mean, you're going to lose. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just. But I mean, I don't want to say.
Like from some of the on set photos and stuff that we've seen from Shazam. I want to say Captain Marvel, but I wouldn't be wrong, but just to
Yeah,
differentiate them. Shazam, it's actually not looking that bad. It's actually looking, from what I can tell, it's not like it. The suit looks very good. They're using, like, from what I could tell, they're using quite a bit of practical effects. So I'm not, I can't say I'm excited for it because we haven't gotten a trailer yet.
Mhm.
Nothing about the DCEU outside of Patty Jenkins related stuff is actually pointing in any positive direction. But like, I'm more so, cautiously optimistic about Shazam.
Yeah.
After since Zack Snyder, it was unfortunate what happened to him. I get it, but like after he left, and I don't think he's ever going to come back to the DCU because I don't think WB would let him at this point. Um, After he left, I maybe have a reason to believe that Shazam and future DC movies, if they do happen, could be better because his grubby fingers aren't all on them. But I'm not sure, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Yeah, I guess only a few more movies in we'll be able to tell. But I mean, why at this point, why not just give it all to Patty Jenkins? Because, like,
Yeah.
I mean, she's the only one who hasn't missed. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like the Russo brothers. They
Yeah.
they made Winter Soldier, great movie.
Mhm.
They uh Kevin Feige went to them and was like, "Hey, do you want to, take on a little heavier of a role and make the Civil War movie?" They were like, "Sure." And then Joss Whedon backed out of making future Avengers movies. Kevin Feige was like, "Hey, you're doing good stuff here. Make next Avengers movies." They were like, "Cool."
So
So
yeah.
just I feel, after Zack Snyder backed out, Joss Whedon's not gonna want to do anything because he already backed out of Batgirl, and people aren't
Mhm.
liking him after what he did to
Mhm.
Justice League. Um, so if Patty Jenkins knocks it out of the park again with Wonder Woman 2, I wouldn't put it past them for crap, I'm blanking out his name. What's the head of DC guy?
Oh shoot. Oh, hold
I
on.
knew it earlier today. It's like uh
Oh,
um like head of DC Comics. Uh
Jeff Johns.
yes, Jeff Johns.
Yeah.
He after BVS, he's apparently taken a more hands-on approach with the DC movies. So I wouldn't be surprised if he like singled out Patty Jenkins as like, "Hey, can you produce like can you produce or even like co-direct future movies for us, please?"
Right. Because I mean, she's doing a great. I mean, she's done a great job versus chopped liver,
Mhm.
respectively, and like
and and I hate it how people after Wonder Woman did so well, people Snyder fanboys still just want to cling to the idea that Snyder is actually a good director. And because he had a writing credit, he wasn't the head screenwriter. He didn't write the screenplay.
he did
He was
not.
a writer on Wonder Woman. He was below Patty Jenkins, by the way. He was second on the list, I think. Could be wrong about that. It could just be, making stuff up here. But I think like he was not the head writer by any means. Because he was a writer, and at that, I wouldn't be surprised if he was just a consultant. Because he built this universe. Just
Probably, yeah.
is this what your vision of Wonder Woman? Is this what she would do? And he's like, yeah, sure. And maybe he wrote a couple of scenes and
Probably.
stuff. I don't know. Because he was a writer on this movie, people still tried to say Zack Snyder is the reason why Wonder Woman is a good movie. And I'm like, no, no. A writer can only do so much. The director who writes the screenplay, who actually directs the action sequences, who directs the characters, who essentially makes the movie, she is the reason this movie was good.
Right.
So shut up.
Like, you, sir, are incorrect.
Oh yeah.
uh,
Shazam. I'll have to see a trailer for it, but like
mhm.
I have higher expectations for Shazam as opposed to Aquaman. So
Right. It's
that's
like
at
so
least something.
far it hasn't. Yeah, it's like so far it hasn't given you any reason to not to like dislike it yet.
Yeah.
So far so good.
So sticking with the DC motif, I have a kind of what I think will be a kind of interesting discussion. So, a couple of months ago, DC kind of redid their projections for future movies. And one thing that I noticed was missing from that list was Justice League Dark. Do you remember the fact that this movie was even happening?
Like the real, I remember hearing about it. Like I know they made the animated one, which was
Mm,
pretty not
it
terrible,
was
pretty
fine.
cool.
It was
Yeah, like it was pretty interesting. But like, yeah, I heard about like the real one, and I was like, okay.
yeah, like
But
I just like on a whim, I just kind of remembered that the movie was happening, and I'm like, I'm gonna look into like seeing who's cast for it and to see like how it's
mhm,
going. There was no cast listing because it's movie
right,
hasn't been spoken about since 2013 or 2015, like a while ago. It was it's hasn't been on any of DC's projection for future movies since 2015. Um, so I'm just curious if this movie is even happening. And what's weirder is because this movie has actually been in production since 2012. Like it's
real.
at least been talked about. A Justice League Dark movie has been in production before Justice League was even a thought, which is really weird to me.
That's not a smart thing to do. I don't know.
I, yeah, I don't know, and that just kind of got me thinking. The fact that Justice League Dark hasn't been talked about forever. I want to look up every other DC movie that's either been forgotten about, has been canceled, or just hasn't been mentioned by
Mhm.
DC since it's been released. So
Okay,
I've actually I was expecting maybe 5 or 6. I have a really long list here actually of movies that
really,
haven't been talked about or maybe not even coming out. So Cyborg,
right.
Batgirl, straight up canceled. That Harley Quinn movie, not on the
Oh,
projections.
that's right. Yeah.
The Harley Quinn and Joker movie, which is said to be a different movie than the standalone Harley Quinn movie. Both of those are MIA at this point. We don't know anything about them, and they haven't been talked about since they were announced 2 years
Yeah.
ago. Deadshot has straight up been canceled.
Right.
Gotham City Sirens hasn't been talked about since.
I doubt.
Nightwing,
Oh
that
yeah.
movie will probably take about 5 years to make because the director is also making the D&D movie,
Hmm.
and that's scheduled as a release date for 2021. So
Oh, that
considering
might
he would
take a
probably want to
while.
focus all his effort on that, and
Right.
maybe at least 5 to 6 years before Nightwing even has a chance to get off the ground. A Booster Gold slash Blue Beetle movie,
Wait,
so
really?
yeah, Booster Gold.
I never remember hearing about that.
Yeah, like in that really ambitious list, like shortly
Oh
before BVS
goodness.
came out, there were a bunch of weird stuff like Gotham City Sirens, like Deadshot, like Booster Gold.
Booster Gold
I
does
don't know
not need a
why.
movie.
Like Shazam makes sense. He's actually a pretty popular
Yeah.
character. In the New 52, he actually helped found the Justice League, so it makes
Right.
sense to want to have a character like that. But Booster Gold, he is zero people's favorite. I don't know a single person that even likes him.
And there's so many people that have no idea who Booster Gold is or anything about. And Booster Gold is not enough of. I don't think he's enough of a character to have a movie about him.
Which is why most of the whenever it was talked about, it was talked about in conjunction with the Blue Beetle like buddy cop style movie, I guess.
That's not. I mean, I'd rather just have a Blue Beetle movie. 'Cause, I
Yeah.
mean, you could actually make a movie about that.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
like Booster, no, no, and like Booster Gold and Blue Beetle don't need. No,
I
let's
think they're
not.
technically friends. Like the older, like the Blue
Like,
Beetle Senior, I think is friends
yeah,
with Booster Gold or whatever.
okay,
But like, no one really cares about him.
this is true. What is his
Black
name?
Adam,
Okay, yeah, he's supposed to get his own movie supposedly.
yeah, but again, it wasn't on that projection back in December, whenever this was made,
Hmm.
which is weird because this movie has been talked about since like I think there was some there was some I read somewhere that Dwayne Johnson has technically been cast to play Black Adam since
Hmm.
2009
Yeah, wow, 2000. I know that
or
early.
something like that. It was some ridiculously long amount of time. And the fact that Shazam is coming out next, and I guess Black Adam will be in that. Might put him more in the limelight for him to get his own movie. Although at that point, I don't really know why a Black Adam movie even really needs to happen, especially
Mhm.
since Deadshot and the Harley Quinn movies have not been talked about since. So I don't know.
Yeah, all these movies. All right, do you got more?
There's one more. So not surprisingly at all. Justice League 2 was left off that list.
Oh, well. Uh, we'll see how that
Yeah.
goes.
Now remember, this movie originally Justice League was supposed to be split into two parts, with Justice League 1 being about Steppenwolf and Justice League Part 2 being about Darkseid.
Mm-hmm.
I personally thought it was a really, really dumb idea to just call it Justice League Part 1 and then Justice League Part 2, meaning that those, like, realistically speaking, you can't really have a subtitle after you call something a part. Because
Right.
if it was Justice League Apocalypse Part 1, that'd be one thing. But it's just Justice League Part 1, Justice League Part 2. That just doesn't sit right with me, because then if you wanted to do an Injustice League movie, or some, or Crisis on Infinite Earths type movie.
You have to keep adding parts to it. You can't just like name it specifically.
Yeah. So yeah, that's 10 movies that DC has had announced at some point that have either been canceled or ignored by DC since they have
Yeah.
been announced.
Because the
10
ones
movies.
they're like actually making may or may not even happen at this point. So it's like, of course, like, they're so ambitious. So, oh yeah, we're gonna make all these movies. And it's like, okay, let's start with this movie. And this movie's like not even happening. Who knows? Like Aquaman at this point, if they don't do Aquaman, I mean they're ready, so they should do it. But I mean, after this one, I mean, honestly, who knows how many more there's going to be? Like, there might be two more DC, including Aquaman. There might be two more, and then this universe is just gone. Like,
Yeah,
we're probably not even getting a Batman movie at this point.
it's supposedly being filmed or start filming next April or something like that, but
Start
no one cares.
filming next year? Like, come on. Come on.
Yeah.
We're waiting this long. This universe has been established for this long.
Mhm.
We have to wait for next year to start the filming.
For it to probably come out the following year.
Exactly. So we're at least 2 years away and some change.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
That would be like that would be like having Civil War essentially be the second movie in the MCU. Start off with Iron Man, have Civil War be the second one,
right,
and then have your, I'll say 2008 be Iron Man, then 2009 or 10 be Civil War, and then 2016, or did I math right? No, 20, 20 like 13 or later be when Captain America finally comes out. That's not at all how you do this.
that's not. Wow. But I mean, I don't. At this point, I mean, I think they're just trying to make movies to not go bankrupt. Because I mean, who knows? Like, I mean, this universe. I'm not bankrupt, but like this universe is just like, it's not coming together. It's just not.
Mm-hmm. Oh, actually, it's 11 movies. I didn't count Justice League Dark in that list. So,
well,
11 movies that have just been, that are MIA.
Yeah, MIA. Some have been canceled. Some of them we don't want. So I mean,
say a lot of things I don't want. I didn't want a Deadshot. I didn't want Gotham City Sirens could be interesting, but not really as a movie.
I mean,
I don't really see how that's much different than a Suicide Squad type movie. Like, and considering how that didn't turn out great, I wouldn't really see them doing these character justice in a movie like this anyway. So I don't know.
I'm just disappointed that Viola Davis was in a DC movie. So now like I feel like she was kind of missed out in that whole Black Panther thing, because I feel like she could have, right?
Yeah.
It's like I feel like she could have been like that. Like, don't get me wrong. I love, like Angela Bassett, Forrest Whitaker, I love what they did. But like, I feel like, like one more like strong Black like actor or something was just
Oh,
like
yeah.
throwing that, like
Viola
it was.
Davis, she is top
Hey,
notch actress.
that's what I'm saying. When you think of like strong like women, especially like of African American, like
Mhm.
she's the first one I think of. So it's
Oh
like,
yeah,
but
and
I
like
mean,
she didn't
good.
do. She wasn't actually half bad as Amanda Waller. I don't feel like they captured Amanda Waller's essence as well as they probably
Right.
should have. But like
Yeah.
the character she was trying to pull off, she did it pretty darn well.
Yeah.
Just everything surrounding her, 100% of the other things surrounding her was trash.
It didn't make. I mean, it just didn't. I mean, the premise of the movie didn't make any sense. Like, it's just like the whole Enchantress thing. Just kind of like it was just like, yeah, this is what we're doing. I'm like, but this is well, one. This isn't what really was the Suicide Squad. Like, not really. And also, where's the Justice League? Like, I love how just no one else shows up for this. Like, oh yeah, Hey, Superman. Remember when that city was getting eaten by that alien thing? Where were you at, bro? He's like, hey man, Metropolis is my only district.
Actually,
Like,
well, he was dead at the time, but still,
I mean,
Flash,
but
Batman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, Aquaman,
somebody,
all of them were
somebody,
available.
all these heroes that show up in Justice League are just like, nah, let me just not help out the world real quick, you know?
And like
Like,
it took place in Midway City, which theoretically is Hawk Girl's domain, right?
yeah, I mean that's and I mean you could make the argument like they aren't there yet or something, but I mean,
Then make it in
I
a different
digress.
city.
I don't know. It's just a reference for those of us who get it, even though it doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect the
Why is
story
Joker there?
because because you put him on the because you want. I don't know. Not like he was a good Joker anyway, so
Oh
I mean, it
yeah,
doesn't really matter.
yeah, true.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Oh well.
So
That
much.
actually leads in perfectly into hey, who said that?
Oh goodness.
Suicide Squad edition.
Oh no. No, I have to think about the movie again? No.
Yes.
Okay,
So
fine.
this is for those of you at home. This is a mid-show game show type thing where I I read a quote from a movie, and then Noah has to guess who said that quote based on the options I give him. Now, because of just how bad Suicide Squad was, this might have been honestly the hardest one I've done so far because every single character is so one note, so one dimensional. It was so hard for me to even picture any other characters saying any of these lines. So this a lot of these you'll be able to get without me even like listing who the options are, but
See, see, you say that, but I haven't seen this movie literally since I saw it in theaters when
that
it
is
came
fair.
out.
Me neither.
So like I mean, I'll probably forget some of the
uh,
situations or just like, and some of the characters don't even match who they're supposed to be, so who knows? But
that's
I
true.
mean, all right,
Okay,
but yeah, game on.
let's get started. We're bad guys. It's what we do.
Ooh,
Captain Boomerang or Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
That
but
was
she
in the
stole that
trailer, I
purse.
think.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's why I remember that.
Okay. Ah, you helped me by erasing my mind. What few faded memories I had. No, you left me in a black hole of rage and confusion. Joker or Enchantress?
Enchantress.
No, that was Joker.
That's Joker. Who did you say that? Who did you say that to?
I think he was talking to Harley Quinn. I guess he was referring to her, being a psychiatrist and like,
Oh,
messing with his mind. I guess
I
I don't remember
guess
anything from this movie.
that whole like sequence was just not didn't make any sense. It was
That
just
might
like
have been when he was about to push her into that vat of acid. I don't know,
maybe,
maybe.
yeah.
It's not important.
I digress.
Next, stay evil, Dollface. Deadshot or Joker?
That's probably Deadshot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really that's Will Smith. It wasn't Deadshot. That was Will Smith saying that line.
Will Smith playing Deadshot, which I love Will Smith. Don't get me wrong
Yeah.
out there. Like Will Smith's great, but I mean, this movie was not his greatest moment by any
No.
means.
I mean, arguably it was better than Bright, but that's a different discussion. um, Uh
After Earth.
oh, right. I forgot about that.
Right. I was gonna say like that period with those two movies, I was like, well, Will Smith, man, I know you're like you're better than this.
Yeah. Ugh. I actually prefer to think of myself as an asset relocation specialist.
Oh goodness.
Harley Quinn or Boomerang.
Relocation. I want to say Harley Quinn, but I don't really know. Let me try Harley Quinn. I don't know.
It was
Is it
Captain
Boomer?
Boomerang.
It's
Yeah,
Boomer.
it's
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even okay. What does
so
that
I
mean?
think the
First of all?
context was I think they were sitting in the bar after they had given up for some reason.
Mhm.
And like
Oh, I don't know.
I think Will or Will Smith said something about them all being thieves or something,
Right.
and Captain Boomerang is like, I refer to myself as
Asset
asset
relocation.
relocation specialist. Like, I
Okay.
guess it was supposed to be a joke. I don't know.
I mean, I guess it's supposed to be funny, but we don't like your character, so it's
Yeah,
fine.
we don't care about you, so stop talking, please. Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay, are you sweet talking me? All that chit chat's gonna get you hurt.
Hmm.
Joker or Rick Flag?
I'm pretty sure that's Joker.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I remember him saying chit chat with his weird
yeah,
teeth, and it made me uncomfortable.
yeah. That everything about that Joker makes you uncomfortable.
I just
Is
don't understand what
I
they were going for.
I don't
Like,
either. I don't know.
nah.
I don't know.
It was like that awkward, like I don't even
You're
know.
like
Like
a
it was just
gangster pimp.
yeah, it was like Flavor Flav meets like like some kind of it was just weird.
Yeah, I don't know. It's taken me some work, but I have found them. The worst of the worst. Joker or Amanda Waller?
That's Waller.
Yep.
Because I think that was in the beginning with the dinner scene, which was honestly that was probably one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah, I mean, because it had a bunch of cool music and like
Yeah,
it. The only problem is after that scene, these characters were then introduced three other separate times.
that's true. Like yeah, all right, here's this character we told you about. Let me tell you about him again. And I'm like, no, I didn't care.
I already
Like,
got their baseball card. I don't need to know anything else about them.
yeah, like, I don't need this and that. I already have this. I don't need that and like a hat and like, and it's like, and especially the characters that I didn't want to hear about
Yeah,
again. Like,
yeah,
I'm just like, I mean, okay, Deadshot's cool. Don't get me wrong. Like, and it's cool to see him shoot stuff like crazy,
hmm
but it's like you already knew what their abilities were. And then when they would use them
yeah.
like showing off, it was almost like it's like a tutorial
Uh,
again.
yeah,
Like like you play the game. It's like you're playing Mario. It's like okay, don't forget to jump on their backs. It's like I just did that like 4 times. Of course, I remember how to play the game. Like
luckily Mario knows not to do that.
I mean yeah, it's like I mean.
And honestly, one of the biggest problems this movie had was casting Will Smith and Margot Robbie to play Deadshot and Harley Quinn, because those two huge names essentially meant that these two characters had to be the focus,
Right.
because you didn't know
Yeah.
anything about, and the other actors, they were just other, like Jai
Yeah.
Courtney. No one likes Jai Courtney. No one knows who played Croc. No one cared about who played El Diablo. Like, honestly, I forgot he was in that movie. So like having Deadshot and Harley Quinn being played by big name actors
Mhm.
essentially meant the studio was borderline forced to focus on these characters instead of fleshing out the other ones you might not care enough about,
Right.
which makes you care even less about them. So yeah, that's
Right. Like they're just like put at the forefront. And it was interesting how like of course that focus movie with with Will Smith and Margot Robbie came out before that and like they're like, "Oh, wow, they do so good with this. Let's do it with that." And have all these other characters not even matter even though
yeah.
it's and like Focus isn't a bad movie. It's okay, but like this movie just suffered from that because it's like
Mm,
let's do what that did. I'm like that has nothing to do with this movie, but okay.
whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, a few more. Don't forget, we're the bad guys.
Oh gosh.
Harley Quinn
That
or Deadshot?
did we do that one already?
I don't think so. It was no.
Okay, that's probably Deadshot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was in the trailer too.
Yeah.
You're a hitman, right? I got a contract. Kill
Mhm.
Harley Quinn. Do it for
That's
your freedom and your kid.
that's Waller.
Yeah.
When she was on the helicopter, and
Mm,
then he's like, "Oh, I missed," and I'm
like, okay.
like
You.
at that point in the movie, I was already done, but it was just kind of
Mm,
like,
yeah, like we have no reason to believe that this character would fall for a character like Harley Quinn
or
or
care.
care about her. Yeah, so I don't. Ugh. Ugh. And yeah, that question alone, like I was having a really hard time figuring out like who else would say that because like
Yeah,
just every character like Rick Flag was the closest I guess, but like even then it just didn't feel
yeah.
right.
And it's weird because like Rick Flag like felt a connection with these guys, and I'm like, dude, what?
Dude, no, you didn't.
What do you what? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
And like the movie's, I don't know. Like the movie's trying to make you feel for these people. That you're just like, no. Like
Mm-mm. I
they're like,
literally
hey,
can't care about these guys.
yeah. They're like, hey, you should give us a chance. We're in this too. And I'm like, you guys are all terrible, horrible people. Like you're none of you are
Mm,
all of you are like
yeah.
mass murderers.
Yeah. Like they tried to go for the whole Guardians aspect where like
Mm,
all of them aren't exactly the best people, but they still were good guys. Like they tried to do the same thing, even with the same flashy
mhm.
music and music video esque style of
Right.
shooting, and they forgot what made Guardians good, and they just tried to emulate it without actually replicating it. I think that I hope that made sense.
I get what you're going at. Yeah.
Okay, you should shut it down, or my friends and I will do it for you. Joker or Bruce Wayne?
That's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. Even
That's
though at that point in the movie he hadn't made friends with these people yet, like this was canonically before Justice League, so like he was only really
mm,
friends with Wonder Woman, so
yeah. They're
I
like,
don't
it's
know what
like,
he meant
oh,
by that.
maybe he's talking about Nightwing, or all. I'm like, or they just wrote it. I love when people like do these like extremely like reaches, giving credit for stuff. I'm just like, or they just they
It's the
just
obvious
don't.
thing.
Yeah, like there's like the 5% chance that's what they were going for, but
uh,
like the 95% just says no, it's
it's
just
less than
poorly written.
five. Like
Yeah,
considering it's Batman and he said my friends will take it, like considering the one of the next movies was Justice League and BVS set up Justice League and this one came out right after BVS, it just he was talking about Wonder Woman, Flash, and all them, even though he hadn't actually met
yeah,
Flash yet. I
but yeah, I mean it's fine.
yeah, whatever. Last
It's
one,
fine.
probably the stupidest line for the entire movie.
Oh, here we go.
Now they worship machines, so I will build a machine that will destroy them all. Build your strength, feed on them, and wait for me to return. Enchantress or Incubus, which is apparently the names of Enchantress's brother. Incubus.
Oh snap.
Didn't
Okay,
know that until
I
now.
didn't know he had a name. I
I
thought it
didn't
was just
either.
Enchantress's brother because I don't remember her ever saying that. I thought it was she always just said brother, so I was just like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
I'll just run
apparently
with
had a
it.
name. Okay.
I don't know. Okay. Oh my god, I don't like it matters. I don't know. I assume it's Enchantress or no,
Yeah.
yeah, because she was
Oh,
talking to him. Because
she was talking to him. Yeah. Like
yeah, okay, like what were they making? Like
I
I don't
have no
remember.
idea.
I still don't know what the
Like it
like.
says here, so I will build a machine that will destroy them all. She shot a space laser into the sky that collected debris.
I
Was
mean, I get all that really matters is it's to destroy the world. When was the last time of like Skybeam or whatever you actually care what it actually did? You just assume, oh, that's not good. Let's get
yeah.
rid of it.
Yeah.
Hey,
True.
you're not watching these movies. Like, like other than like Avengers, where it's like, oh, it's opening a dimension where aliens are gonna kill us
Mm-hmm.
all. Like other than that, like, but when they deal with other movies and stuff, you're not just like, oh no, Skybeam. that's gonna do this and that. And that. It's just like, okay, that's not okay. Let's go fix that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
kill the
like,
team.
you are Enchantress. You have all the magics, and your go-to plan is to build some machine to destroy things somehow. Like,
I
you
mean,
could just flip the world inside out because you're magic. Like,
especially there's two of them, so I was
yeah.
expecting, something a little
Why was
cooler.
he in this movie? He didn't do anything.
I'm saying he didn't need to exist. Honestly, neither did Enchantress, but I mean that's another
Oh, that's a
story.
different discussion. Though. Like, that's
It went around the topic of Killer Croc,
it's
wasn't it?
it's it's kind of funny that like the main reason BVS Suicide Squad and Justice League suck is because their villains are trash.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really. I mean, the only good villain has really been, I mean, what,
Ares.
Nazis?
There weren't Nazis. There were German soldiers
Okay,
in World War
okay,
One, but still, yeah,
okay. Sorry, wrong war. I apologize
it's
for
fine. Yeah,
history.
like
History nerds, please forgive me. But no, okay, but Germans and Ares kind of. But I
yeah,
mean, yeah, like I mean, other than that, I mean
Zod was
that.
amazing. Yeah, let's move on.
Awkward silence. I mean, moving
Oh,
right along.
I wish I could say that. Anyway, so let's move away from DC for now and talk about what Disney is up to now. So we're gonna start off with some, I guess, unfortunate news. After Avengers 4, apparently Chris Evans is leaving the MCU.
Right back. Right.
So,
I'll be right back.
I mean, it makes sense. He's been doing this since what, 2011?
Yeah.
Captain America has had a good run. He has, arguably the
Best
two
trilogy.
best movies in the MCU.
Got definitely the best trilogy. So I mean,
Yeah, and like, I get it. Like after Avengers 4, it makes sense for him to for it, like that seems like a decent stepping off point. But
yeah,
still, Captain like he brought the character of Captain America to life. He actually made
yeah,
me care about that character. I did not really like Captain America before I watched Winter Soldier, but now that like he's one of my favorite Avengers. So
yeah,
it's just kind of sad that he's probably not really gonna do like
yeah.
at least be a significant part of the MCU anymore. Which
Right. And I mean, and it's probably gonna be because, the actual Captain America, whatever his fate may be, probably gonna get replaced. And then,
yeah,
and it's like it's time, it's his time, Like,
yeah,
eventually Hugh Jackman hangs up the claws and goes make the greatest showman. And, like everyone it's time. Who
yeah.
knows?
It would be. I think it would be really cool if once the whole Disney Fox merger finally like starts
Mhm.
being a factor in the MCU. I think it would be cool if like years down the line, like maybe like 5 years, they do a real Old Man Logan movie, and where Captain America is like not like the antagonist, but like an older Captain America is like a significant part of that, and they have their fight.
Mhm.
But just essentially, the main reason why I'm kind of upset that people like Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. are probably going to be stepping away relatively soon is because they are very important parts of many important arcs in Marvel Comics,
Yeah.
like Avengers versus X-Men. After the X-Men come in, after the main core Avengers, either they get replaced or the characters themselves just stop being in the MCU.
Right.
If they did want to go X-Men versus Avengers, it wouldn't be really the same without Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, and Hulk in there.
Right.
So, like, I just kind of wish that in a way that this universe could have started with all of these characters in it. It would have been a very different world, but still, it just would have been. It's just a little not irritating, but a little like
Disappointing.
this. Yeah, I guess disappointing is the best word to know that like
Mm-hmm.
we there is still like there are potential now to have X-Men versus Avengers or X-Men interacting with Avengers. There's a chance to have that just without these pivotal, pillars of the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well.
Yeah, and I mean that is disappointing because I mean, like for a lot of people, like Robert Downey Jr. and Chris, these are the characters. Like
Mm-hmm.
Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark. There's no
Oh yeah.
like, there's not even close. Like, and it's like after if these characters really do, whatever happens or they just walk away, whatever. It's like, I mean that it's over. You can't
Yeah.
just replace that. So that's why this is a
Yeah.
movie. It's gonna be emotional, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be hard
Like,
because uh, I'm not ready.
no. I'm just curious. Like, I guess this either implies that Captain America doesn't die at least until Avengers 4, or he does die and Infinity Stone stuff bring him back.
Right.
And maybe after he comes back to life, he's like, I'm done being Captain America. I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
I
He's
already
like, look,
died. I don't want to. I'm done.
he's like, look, man. After you get hit by a Thanos, it changes you. Like
Yeah.
you'll just be like a totally different person.
It's not
Like
worth
who
it.
knows? Yeah, he's like, yo, man. I mean, who knows? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how it's gonna happen. I mean, I don't know, but
Mm.
we'll have to.
Yeah. Well,
It's gonna be disappointing because there's so much they can do now. They have, like, once the rights and everything is
mm.
official and all this stuff, and like, especially, I mean, and it is good because I mean, they still have Spider-Man. Black Panther's
Oh, yeah.
doing really well. Like they have other characters. Like I'm sure, like the other characters are gonna be good, but
Mm.
like it's not gonna be the same.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like Civil War Part 2 with Captain Marvel versus whoever replaces Iron Man
Hmm.
is just not going to feel as. I'm probably not going to be as engaged with it if they do make that into a movie because we're not seeing Chris Evans, Captain America versus Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark against each
Right.
other. It just,
It doesn't have the same weight to it.
yeah. But, oh
Oh,
well.
man.
Yeah.
So intense.
Yeah. Speaking of Captain Marvel, did you hear that actually a pretty sizable amount of returning characters are going to be in Captain Marvel?
Really? How
Yeah.
many? Like,
Um,
do we have names or just numbers?
right now we know Agent Coulson.
Okay.
Um, I forgot to write that name down, but um, crap. He was in Guardians of the Galaxy 1. He's that meme with no, all right, he's one of Ronan's minions. He's the black guy
Oh,
minion.
oh gosh. I think I know his name. I don't know his name, but I think I know what you're talking about.
It's something the something. Yeah. Like something the Ravager, something the
Yeah.
yeah, him. And also my favorite MCU villain, Ronan, is also coming back.
Eh, well, I mean, eh,
I mean, as long as they don't bring Malekith back, which I cannot believe I just pulled that name out of my head.
that's impressive.
Like I remember nothing from Thor 2. Yeah, I just pulled that name out of my head. Anyway, as long as they don't bring that guy back,
I think we'll be okay.
yeah. But
I
Ronan, I
think.
mean, probably because the Kree and the Skrulls don't like each other at all.
Mm,
So like, and Captain Marvel is gonna be focusing a lot on the Skrulls and whatnot. So any one of these characters could easily be a Skrull at some point. So just and probably Ronan will be in it for like maybe a couple of scenes, like him.
yeah.
He's maybe fighting like the King Skrull or whatever, and of course he won't die because we know he shows up in Guardians of the Galaxy. But
Yeah.
it'll be maybe it'll be interesting to see him come back. I don't know.
I mean, I don't think it'll be a bad thing. It's like, oh yeah, like especially when going into like a new movie, it is nice to have a familiar face at least once. Like I know it sounds weird, like we're not actually going anywhere, but it's like okay, we can reference this character from other
Yeah,
movies. Kind of
yeah.
rich
And then
through.
Agent Coulson, Nick Fury, and other agents of Shield when they still were Shield. are also
Hmm.
going to be part of this because this movie's. I actually find this really interesting. The fact that this movie is set in the '90s,
Right.
which kind of brings up the question: where has Captain Marvel been?
Well, maybe that'll probably be answering the movie. Maybe they
Yeah,
go somewhere. Like, I mean,
like has she just been chilling in space? Has she like? I mean, like I said, it'll probably be set at the end of this movie, but
right.
I don't know. Just and another question: do you think Captain Marvel will show up in any capacity in Infinity War?
I don't think maybe Avengers 4, like
Oh,
the one, like, but like this one, I don't think so.
yeah,
I mean, because they've shown us literally. I mean, these trailers we've gotten. I mean, literally every MCU character like of relevance has pretty much at least been seen or something.
yeah,
So
and
I think we're good. I don't
yeah,
think there's.
yeah. Considering Captain Marvel is the movie right before Avengers 4, I
Right.
could see kind of a Thor Ragnarok situation where where
Mhm.
the stinger is something happens and she has to come back to Earth to fight whatever
Right.
happens in Avengers 4. We don't know. We don't even know how Avengers 3 is gonna end up. Just whatever happens, like Captain Marvel will end on a cliffhanger or it'll end with her coming to to meet up with the other Avengers somehow. So that'll be interesting.
Oh my goodness. Ugh.
I need it. I need it now.
It's like half of me wants the movie today, but the other
Mm,
half's like, but as soon as this movie's over, some characters will be lost from my like life
maybe,
forever. And it's
yeah.
like
Oh, it's so weird to think about.
that's what I'm saying. Like it's like that, like you know it's gonna happen, but you're like, I don't want it to change.
Yeah,
Like, you know, it's
which
like
is which I'm talking about DC again, which is why they were stupid to show Doomsday in that second or
mm,
third BVS trailer because you knew how that movie was going to end at that point.
yeah.
Because you had this guy named Doomsday who canonically is the guy that kills Superman, you knew that's how the movie was going to end.
Yeah. And
Ugh.
it's just like, okay, so Superman. I mean, and the thing, and it's like, not that you cared, but still, it's just kind of like, dude.
I would have
It's
been
like,
like,
you know,
ugh.
it's
What would it
almost
like
like
for
you.
BVS to at least feel like it meant something, right?
I mean, but would it really have mattered?
No, no. It
That's
wasn't a good
like
fight anyway.
that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, I wouldn't have been like, well, at least like because I mean, Doomsday was the whole thing was not good at all.
Yeah.
So
So, as opposed to that, we don't know who's expendable in the MCU. Like, we know Chris
right.
Evans is leaving after Avengers 4, so he's at least going to show up in some capacity in the next one. He still could die, but we don't know. Tony Stark could die, but he's also. Robert Downey Jr. is like. The strangest thing is, all of these actors are scheduled to be in Avengers 4 as well.
Mhm.
They were filmed at the same time.
Right.
So, like, I don't know what that means.
I mean, one way I've thought about it is like, okay, so like they could die in Infinity War, but then they could still like through like flashbacks and other stuff be like referenced in the next movie. So like I like
Yeah,
not as much like I don't know, like that's just something I thought about, but like I don't know because like it almost feels like oh well they're fine because they're gonna be in Avengers 4, but I'm like well maybe I mean I don't know.
yeah. I There is a very, very, very big reason why they are keeping the fact that Avengers 4 is untitled.
Right.
They are keeping it untitled for a reason. Like, by now, you think they would have named it by now because I think they had the name of Age of Ultron by 2013.
Hmm.
So you think a year out from release of Avengers
Oh
4, you
yeah.
think they would have had a name, but clearly something in Infinity War causes Avengers 4 to happen.
Yeah, it's probably like I mean I don't know like a lot of people are like oh maybe it's the new Avengers or something like that or like something that like because
Mm,
it's obviously a big change because like
yeah.
that's the reason they're not telling us because I mean it's gonna obviously ruin it because
Mm,
something's gonna happen but
yeah.
oh
I still uh, go back to my theory about the idea that the end of Infinity War will essentially be the first trailer of Avengers 4.
That
Ugh,
is a possibility.
yeah,
Yeah, or like a post-credit scene or something.
yeah.
Like,
Or it'll be like these characters return in Avengers.
oh my god, yeah, probably. Mm, gosh, this is gonna be so good. There's so many characters that are so good. And like
Or,
some, you've just seen in like Black Panther, and like some
mm,
you haven't seen in a little while, and you're just like, oh man,
we still haven't seen Hawkeye yet.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, who who knows? Maybe Hawkeye is like, you know what? Forget this. I'm just gonna chill with my family.
Yeah,
Like, I don't. Who knows, man?
it
Like, if
might
I was
just
Hawkeye, that's what I would do.
it might just be like one shot of him just sitting with his family in his house. Then come back to the action.
It's like, honey, what's the Netflix password?
Just super mundane.
Goes back to boom, like just
Uh,
blasted building or something. Like,
uh,
who
yeah.
knows? But yeah.
So speaking of Infinity War, I found this next piece of information completely by accident. So those those little like banner ads or little like gotcha ads at the bottom of articles where like you'll never believe this, this, and this.
Mhm.
Like this will shock you.
Yeah.
Um, one of those things said this character will be in Infinity War, and I'm like, okay, what is this? Like, who are you talking
Mhm.
about? Like, if it'll probably be Thanos, just because that's how these
Yeah.
things are. So I wish I hadn't figured this out. And you could say like, I'm not sure if like you'll probably find out before anyway, but like there is a character in Infinity War that blew my mind who's going to be in it. You can say yes or no if you want to hear it.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, according to Metacritic, who has the list of all the actors who will be in Infinity War,
Mhm.
I don't remember the name of the actor, but someone is cast to play the Silver Surfer.
What? Really?
Yes.
Nah. No. Wait a minute. I gotta. There's
Just
no.
Google Silver Surfer Infinity War. Like stuff will pop up about
Oh, wait. Oh my gosh. What? What? No. What? Oh. Okay. All right. Back to reality.
it. Like, ah,
Really?
I wish I hadn't heard about that because that's one thing that like Infinity War clearly is gonna have a lot of characters. And I'm
Yeah.
expecting some like, something like a Captain Marvel maybe to show up, but I wasn't expecting a Silver Surfer type character to be in
Not
this
at
movie.
all. No.
I
Like
didn't
I was.
even know like during the filming of this movie did they have the rights to Silver Surfer?
Maybe they anticipated getting the right. I don't. I mean, they're like, guys, like it's a done deal. Don't worry. We
Mhm.
will be fine. It's a done deal. Just by the time it comes out.
Yeah. I don't know what this means. Like Galactus is not going to be in this movie. Is it possible? Is it possible that Galactus will be the after credit scene?
That probably.
Like
I don't know.
because I don't know anything about Silver Surfer outside of his connection to Galactus. And we already kind of talked about this a couple weeks ago, and we talked about the fact that there's a Silver Surfer movie in development for some stupid reason. But like, I don't really see a reason for Silver Surfer to be in a movie where they're fighting Thanos
I,
unless he's connected to Galactus in some way.
I
Which
mean, that might be. I mean, that's probably what you're saying, or like a post credits or something like that. So like he's like the next, because like I guess that's the only thing I could. I don't know.
like maybe like maybe there's a scene like them eating shawarma, and it's like I'm so glad we just took out our biggest threat ever, and then it cuts to space and Silver Surfer is flying, and like Galactus is not
Yeah.
like far behind him or whatever like that. Just as long as they don't make Galactus, a big space ball monster like they did in, or like space gas monster like they did in
I
Fantastic
think
Four too.
I think they'll do it a little bit better than the Fantastic Four did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, just
Uh,
like
but
uh,
man, I
like
mean,
I don't know what this means.
I don't even want to dig because the more I dig, the more
Yeah,
I'm gonna like make my theory or something, and then just like go into the movie like well, and like I just want to go into the movie and just enjoy it.
yeah. Like
And
I
I
thought of
don't
that
even
after credit scene theory right now. Like as I was
right, you
saying that,
know,
I
it's
thought of that.
like and like those are great. I don't know, like that's one thing I don't like to theorize movies a lot of times
Yeah,
because like because then you get what happens to the Last Jedi. Everyone's like, what? Ray's parents, Ray's not a Kenobi, throws laptop and freaks out like because like it distract like when you
mm.
get too into your theories, it distracts you from actually
Oh yeah,
enjoying what has happened. It's a
yeah,
good movie. It's just you
mm.
didn't write it, so therefore you hate it for some reason, and
Yeah. The I like the main reason I wish I hadn't seen the fact that Silver Surfer might, again, this could be wrong, like it could be like some error, I don't know, probably not, but still, is the fact that like in general I don't really like spoilers in things in general.
right, same.
So like even though I will be enjoying this movie the whole way through, in the back of my mind,
You'll be thinking
I'm
about
gonna
it.
know Silver Surfer might show up, and that will like it won't be at the forefront. I'll be enjoying what I'm watching, but just
Right.
in the back of my mind, like I'm questioning things, like where is he? Like
You're
when
expecting it, yeah.
when he does show up, it's not gonna be a surprise anymore. So
I'd be like, what? You're not gonna
yeah,
like the sponge guard, like
yeah.
what?
But, oh well, like
I,
I'm just confused as to how, if they pull this off, how they how they got that to work.
uh, Disney magic, I guess. I
Like
don't.
maybe
Mm,
it's a maybe it's like a an Amazing Spider-Man 2 situation where, after Amazing Spider-Man 2, 2 years later, they got into or actually the year after, they got into contract with
mm,
Disney to be like, hey, you guys can have Spider-Man in Civil War and then use them in future movies. Maybe after Fan Four Stick, the dumpster fire that movie was, maybe they were like, Disney came to them in like super secret and was like, so we know you guys are not going to be making any more Fantastic Four movies. So can we, have access to some of your characters? And they're like, sure, why not? Maybe.
I mean, at that point, you might as well. And I mean, like,
Yeah.
and Silver Surfer is not a character that they would necessarily miss. Not that they were gonna do anything with it
Yeah.
anyway. So it's
Yeah.
like, it's like, yeah, well, it's like, they asked for like, oh, let me just take one of your pawns. They're like, okay.
All right.
And
Cool.
now it's just like, but then if we put it on their chessboard, it's like,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, like, oh my goodness. I can imagine like just in the theater, people just like losing their
Mm,
minds. I'm just gonna be like, it's happened. It was
yeah.
foretold, and yet I still don't believe.
Yeah, I
Like,
know.
oh my gosh.
Ugh.
Mhm.
Like, of all the, like, there's going to be so much hype throughout this entire movie. And then, like, there has to be something big for the after credit scene. So like something like a Galactus, assuming Thanos isn't carrying over to the next Avengers movie, it just makes sense for that
Mhm.
level of villain to be after Thanos. Like
Right.
you can't really you can't really go down from Thanos after you have a Thanos level villain. You have to at least match
No.
that.
I want to say, like, I mean, once you go all the way to the top, like, you
Yeah.
can't really.
Like people like like I don't like Murdoch, but
hmm
still like but even if I did like Murdoch, he's he's like, is he a Thanos lackey? Is he like of the same?
I mean, I'm not really sure, honestly. I don't see the thing about Thanos. I don't know that much about Thanos.
Yeah,
I gotta get my Thanos game on
yeah,
before this
but like
movie. But like, I don't know really,
yeah,
but
like
probably.
I wouldn't want Murdoch to be the next Avengers villain, because like
hmm
Thanos, he's the he's like the Avengers villain, and then Murdoch, Avengers
Yeah.
4. What? Who are you? Why are you on my
it's
screen?
like it's like yeah, this is your follow. Yeah, it's like that whole tough active follow thing. Like you can't really
Mm,
like what.
yeah, but yeah, like Galactus, he's not like, I don't think he's as recognizable as Thanos, but still he's as big of a threat, if not a bigger
Oh
threat.
yeah, I mean, in the Marvel universe, I mean, that's a huge deal.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, dude eats planets. Like,
Yeah.
not even kidding.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Oh yeah.
like there was no hyperbole in that sentence. So like, yeah, it's pretty terrifying. So
Okay. So that's something that to to look further to look forward to on top of everything else. Look forward to in
yeah,
Infinity War. Okay.
just in case you weren't already oozing with excitement, that's just a
Just one more
little
thing.
extra. Yeah, they're on there.
Okay. So, in other nerd news, did you see that Deadpool 2 trailer?
Of course.
Okay. Um, I don't really have much to say about the trailer itself. Do you have anything like specifically to say about it?
That was funny. I like the I like the chair.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was kind of funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that trailer like essentially cemented the idea of yes, this is just
Yeah.
essentially going to be Deadpool 2. Like it's
Yeah.
it might be a little more structured than Deadpool 1. Well, though really Deadpool 1 was people don't really talk about this that much, but Deadpool 1 really is more or less a paint by numbers superhero story in the sense that Deadpool's a superhero. He doesn't want to be a superhero. His girlfriend gets captured. He has to go stop the bad guy. Big action
Right.
scene. Movie's over. But
Yeah.
because Deadpool is such an intriguing character, because of just the way he acts and the things he does, it felt new and fresh.
Right.
And this movie also kind of follows those same steps of Deadpool has to stop the bad guy from kidnapping this kid, and he has to have this ragtag group of heroes come together to fight the bad guy. Like it's
Mhm.
like if you put it in terms like that, it seems very by the books, but just the way
Right.
it seems they're doing it, very like it was very funny. Like
Right.
the fourth wall breaks they made were like was some of the stuff I was kind of missing from the first one. Like they made some of those jokes, but it wasn't as it wasn't as much as I thought they were going to do. But like
Yeah.
so
Oh my God. Yeah. I think yeah, and it's like when you have like it's like when you do Deadpool, it's like it's so different that even the most simple thing is
mm,
totally revolutionized because
yeah.
it's Deadpool, so it's totally different. So it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter. And they know that, so they make simple stories, but it's Deadpool and all these other characters you like that interact with Deadpool, and it's hilarious, so it's
Oh yeah.
fine.
Oh yeah.
So
Like I
I'm
love that scene where
excited.
it's like, we're the X Force. Isn't that a bit derivative?
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna like. There's gonna be so many references that are just gonna be
Yeah.
great, and it's. Oh, I'm excited because I mean, Deadpool's that movie that just like, especially with all that's going on with Infinity War and how like serious that's gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, Infinity War's gonna have its share of jokes too, but I mean,
Yeah.
Deadpool's gonna be really that just kind of like just relax, laugh, and enjoy a funny
Mm-hmm.
movie, which
Oh yeah.
also still.
Go
And
on.
it still looks like it's gonna have some good action because I mean you got that it kind of almost had that like a Kill Bill kind of feeling to
Uh
it, with, like the swords and like all that. So
yeah. Um and we talked last week about the fact that some people were kind of iffy about Deadpool 2 seemingly
Mhm.
having reshoots, even though they
Right,
weren't labeled as extensive reshoots. They were, just standard movie reshoots.
yeah,
Yet apparently Deadpool 2 in test screenings is getting higher ratings than the first one did in test screenings. Yeah. I
interesting.
think Deadpool 1 got a 91
Yeah, some
pre-screening.
like those pictures were
I think
great.
this one got like a 95, 96. So,
Yo, this is gonna be hype.
yeah.
This
Then again,
is
at the
gonna
same
be
time, like
hype.
test screenings aren't always indicative of how the actual movie will be because supposedly Batman v Superman got a standing ovation, which I don't believe, but like according
I
to
think
some according to certain sources, they like at some test screenings it got a standing ovation after the credits roll, which like I don't know if there's any truth to that, but if it was, then maybe it's just that audience liked it. I don't know.
yeah, I feel like it was just because of the name more than like the actual movie.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, because honestly, because like, I mean, some things deserve a standing ovation, and
Mhm.
like some things don't.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's not to be mean, it's just to be honest. Like, it's one thing to like, okay, I'll clap to be nice, but you don't give a standing ovation to be nice.
Yeah.
At least you're not supposed to,
Yeah.
so we'll see. But
Yeah. So yeah, Deadpool 2 getting even higher test ratings than the first,
I'm
like,
feeling good about this.
and that honestly, like, if was Deadpool 1 2016?
I think so. Yeah, let me make sure, but I'm pretty sure it was 2016. 'Cause I remember that was high school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
February 26th. It was right before Valentine's Day
Okay.
2016. Yeah, because that was senior year.
Okay. So yeah, if Civil War hadn't come out that year, then it definitely would be the best superhero movie of that year. But I mean,
Yeah,
Civil War, come on.
yeah, and I mean, yeah, and I mean, and you can almost make the argument that they're different. I mean, because they're basically different movies.
Oh yeah,
I
like
mean,
they're very different
I mean,
movies, but like,
yeah, I mean, they're superhero movies, but I mean, there's obviously the premise in movies
uh,
are completely different. So
mm, yeah. Oh, I'm like think this is one of the reasons why I'm just so ecstatic about the idea of Avengers Infinity War not being in May, because
hmm
as before Avengers Infinity War was the most excited what was the movie I was most excited for in May,
right,
with Deadpool 2 being kind of right below it, and then
right, just because
Han
it's also
Solo is
happened to be in May, and
and then
then
Han
yeah,
Solo I
so
might not even watch. But now it's only a week removed, but still it's not in May. Deadpool 2 is gonna be my favorite movie from May. I just know it.
moved up. Oh yeah, I mean, it moved up, and that, like, I'm telling you, this whole early to midsummer thing Disney's doing, like, it's gonna like nothing. But, oh my
They've
goodness,
killed
like
it every single year since Avengers.
I know, and like but like this year, I think is gonna be like game over because I mean, Infinity War, and we've been talking about this for so
Yeah,
long, and now it's finally happening. And Deadpool 2 right now is looking like it's gonna be
yeah,
better than Deadpool 1, according to
yeah,
early screen. And we got the Incredibles too, so we've been waiting for 14 years.
yeah.
14 years. This man was 6 years old. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, this is a huge deal. Like, this is all happening in that, early summer
Mm,
to midsummer kind of period. So,
yeah.
like, this is huge. I mean, I almost don't want to like get a job over the summer, so I make sure I have free time. But then it's
But
like,
at the
no,
same time, you need all the extra money you can get to watch all these movies.
this is true. This is true. But it's like, oh, like I don't want to be like I don't want to miss any of these movies because I know
Yeah, like,
somehow it'll get spoiled or something. And
mm,
like this is gonna be huge.
oh yeah.
Like and like out of these three, there's none of these movies I'm like I mean like Han Solo, like don't get me wrong, I like Star Wars, but Han Solo, I'm not even thinking about that movie.
No,
Like
it's
I'm really just not. Like I mean it's weird because like if it was in December, I'd
oh yeah,
probably be like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'll be sure, I'll check it
because
out.
there's
But
no
like
competition in December.
exactly, like December is literally. I mean, oh, Aquaman. I mean,
Thanks.
I mean,
Like I
but
said, no competition. Although it's
but
stupid because Avengers Infinity War was originally going to be on May 4th, which is
right.
Star Wars Day. And then Star Wars Han Solo movie is coming out later in May. Now that Avengers is not coming out in May 4th, why not just move Han Solo up to May 4th? Star Wars Day.
Because I mean, that's literally gonna be the week after, and
Yeah.
like no offense to Han Solo, but it's not gonna
It's going
like
to get
if they
boring.
really want to get the most out of each of their movies, they need to space them out enough. Because like
Yeah.
take one right after. I mean, Infinity War is gonna be the number one movie for probably a month.
At
So
least 4 weekends, at
that's what
least.
I'm saying. So like Han Solo is just gonna get like at best it can get number two those weeks.
Yeah.
So I mean like. And I mean, again, it's your one child's valedictorian, and the other one's just really smart. But I mean, but I mean, at the same time, it's like if you want all of your
Mhm.
movies to do its absolute best, you got to space them
Yeah.
out, but still keep. But I do like how they're still keeping it all together because I'm so excited.
Mhm. Yeah, I just find it kind of
Oh my
funny that
gosh!
like we're finally getting a Star Wars movie in May, and it just because circumstances happened, it couldn't come out on May 4th.
I know,
Like
but it's like,
it's one of the only Mays, like, what is it? There's a May 4th on a Friday every 6, 7 years.
something
Like
like that. Yeah.
maybe 8 if given a leap year, but like every, so many years, this is really their only chance to put a May Star Wars movie on May 4th, and
I mean, yes. And and I know May 4th is, National Star Wars Day.
Yeah.
Like, it's a huge deal.
Mhm.
But given the circumstances and the level of hierarchy that the movies are coming out, because like, again, Incredibles 2 coming out later, and Infinity War literally the week before, like, you don't want to do that. Like, because, you don't want to do that to start. Because even Star Wars nerds are going to be like, but fam, Infinity War. Because like I like Star Wars more than Marvel, but even I am gonna watch Infinity War. I'd rather watch Infinity War for the second time.
Same,
honestly, because like, oh goodness, dude, like it's just. I don't know. They know what they're doing. They're spacing it out enough so that no movie suffers because of their own product.
It would be a bad idea to sandwich Solo between Deadpool and Infinity War. It makes sense for it to come after Deadpool.
Right. It's like, it's just trying to make sure every single every movie gets to its peak,
Mm-hmm.
And if any other movies come in between them that aren't owned by Disney, sucks to be you, because no one's gonna watch you, like, that's just too bad. Like May, pretty much, end of April, pretty much most of May. No, just don't do it. Just don't do it. Try something else.
Yep.
Dude, it's like literally a month away.
We are 5 days from 27 days away.
Oh my god. Okay, so it's the 26th. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks exactly.
So yeah, we're exactly a month from the midnight screening.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
oh no.
Like when it gets like, it's weird because like at first I'm like, oh dude, it's 2018 Infinity War, and then I forget, but then I like don't think about it, and it's like, dude, it's only a month away. It's like
gonna be in April.
Yeah, and like think about it. In what next? Like what Sunday?
Sunday
is April 1st. Mm-hmm. That's the month.
Yep.
Like what?
Do you think they decided to bring it to April solely so that they could like use the Avengers A in the April?
I doubt it, but then again, maybe.
They just own the month, even though Avengers is coming out the very last Friday in May. In April. They own the month.
Well, they were already using the A in May, so I feel like it was. So it's not like it's like let's do this too, because it's not. But honestly, I'm not gonna complain because I love that they move it up. Because hey, one more week, and it's not in the middle of finals anymore, which is great because I can actually study for my finals instead of going to see Infinity War. Even though I might go see it again anyway, but don't tell my parents. But
yeah,
oh dude, like this is wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it's coming, man. It's
out
there, and the world is not ready.
Nope.
I do not think the world is not ready.
Simply not ready for Disney just owning
the
next 4 or 5 months.
Disney could literally make all the money they need for the whole year from the last week in May or April to the end of May, and like they could just close up shop, and still probably make the most of that.
Like they could not even release Incredibles and be just fine. I want them to release it. Like it's just not be fine.
I'm telling you, play like that. But like no, because like just Incredibles. Like, you know how many people are gonna see this movie?
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone's good because everyone's seen the original. Everyone likes the original, at least likes it, not worships it. So okay, too far, but
it's arguably the best Pixar movie. So
it's probably my favorite. But I do like Inside
Figure that out later.
Yeah, we'll get there. But it's like, man, it's because we waited so long. It's been 14 years. Like. all these, you're like, it's weird because like you were a kid. Now people are gonna be bringing their kids.
Yes. Ugh.
Like when I was your age, this movie, like and it's like it's gonna be good. I feel like it's gonna be
Yeah.
great. The character,
Is
oh man,
is Deadpool? Will Deadpool 2 technically fall under the Disney umbrella?
I I don't know actually.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the whole contract works because I think I read somewhere maybe that Disney isn't gonna be able to change or like alter
Yeah,
anything to
apparently,
do with movies through with Fox movies through
right.
the New Mutants.
Okay, according to it, it's still under like 20th century because like at the time of development and all that.
Okay.
So I mean, yeah, which is fair because I mean, you can't if you take over or like buy out a company,
Mm.
if they're halfway done with something, they still get credit for it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
but
kind of
still Disney
ridiculous.
is gonna since Disney owns a Marvel brand,
Right. I mean,
they're
they're still
still
gonna
gonna
get the
make money
money.
from action figures and just
Yeah.
other merchandise
Yeah.
stuff.
Because they really need the money, but it's Disney. But
Why do you need it? You can just want it. I mean, you can
that's
just
what I'm
want all the
saying.
money.
That's what I
You
mean,
can just have
it's like
it.
it's almost being like, hey, stop trying to be rich. What do you do? Like, leave some funds for the rest of the world, but at
uh,
the same time, it's like being mad at someone for doing a good job. Like you can't
yeah.
really, it's like talking to the army, be like, hey, stop winning all these wars. What are you doing? Like, like what? No, but
Yeah.
Disney is, and they're making such good entertainment. That's the thing. Like,
Hmm.
if they weren't making great stuff, then I
Yeah.
could understand complaining. But I mean, what has Disney really made recently that hasn't been, if not great, at least not good?
I
Like,
didn't like Beauty and the Beast, but it's
okay,
just
but I
me.
mean
That's just
I
me.
mean, but I mean that's a you thing. But I mean, people loved like the general consensus is Beauty and the Beast was great.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean that's fair because I mean not everyone's into musicals, and some people think it was the same movie just with real people. But
Well,
I mean,
that's why I didn't like it.
yeah,
I
it's like I've
love
seen,
the it's my second or third
yeah,
favorite Disney movie.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean,
So
I don't like I'm not a fan of reruns in general, especially if
yeah.
it's not like my favorite movie. So I'm just kind of like, okay, like don't get me wrong, it's cool, the visuals look fine, but I mean.
Mm.
Like, oh, but they added a new song. I'm like,
And
hey, I don't know, but I mean, in general though, it did really well.
yeah.
Everyone was singing. I mean, I remember last year there were people in my dorm and like in my hall singing the soundtrack in the shower, and I'm just like,
Okay.
all right, that's fine.
So yeah, like even stuff that is kind of subpar, Disney still makes a lot of money off of.
Exactly, like like it does like, and the thing is, their standard is almost exceptional. So it's
Mhm.
like you just go in expecting it to be great. And even if
Yeah.
it's not the best, it's still pretty darn good.
Yeah. But like really the I'm probably missing a couple of things here and there like and there are some, subjective stuff like I didn't like the Cinderella reboot.
Mhm.
I didn't really like the Jungle Book reboot. Like these are me things. The
Right.
only movie that Disney has made over the past I'm gonna say 5 years that I think is just universally said this is a bad movie is Thor the Dark World.
Yeah. I
Other
mean,
than that, I can't think of another movie that Disney had their hands on that
yeah.
people universally said this is bad.
Yeah, and like one thing I do like to say, like a lot of people are like, oh, but what about like some of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies? Which some of those are kind of like
Okay, yeah. Uh,
because I'll be honest, I was over it because I'm like, why are they making more? Like Jack Sparrow's a great character,
yeah,
but
but
I
the
mean, they're
third
just
one was
making
trilogy.
yeah,
Like you finished.
yeah, like you were done, and they're like, but wait, there's more, and I'm like, no, no, no,
And then
put it down
even the fourth one ended it like had a pretty solid
again,
ending.
right? But then they just bring it back, and
Right.
again, like, and the thing is. I like they don't need to. That's the thing. Like
Yeah.
if that was the only franchise that was like really doing stuff for them. But I mean, Disney's making has all these other things going. I mean,
Yeah.
they're in the middle of a Star Wars trilogy.
Hmm.
They're on the verge of Infinity War, all this other stuff going on, and they're like, oh, let's make another Pirates movie. And we're just like,
It's, it's kind
I
of
mean,
like that Ant-Man mentality coming right after Age of Ultron. Like,
yeah,
even if this movie is bad, it's still gonna make some money, and even if it loses money, a Star Wars movie is coming out shortly after, or a
right.
Marvel movie is coming out shortly after. So there's no reason not to at least try to make a little bit of extra money here and there.
Right. And they're like doing that like low risk, low effort kind of thing, which I mean, which does make sense. And from a business standpoint, it's smart, but it's like you don't need to,
Yeah.
It's like you're not I mean, again, it's Disney and they're a business first, which I totally understand.
Mm,
But at the same time, it kind of like your batting average goes a little bit down. Not
yeah.
that no one's gonna care, but I
Yeah.
mean,
Like,
I don't know.
yeah, I'm pretty sure they said they're done with Pirates movies. Like, I think the movie ended like legitimately on an ending. I didn't
Yeah,
see it because I stopped caring after the third one. I watched the fourth one
right.
because it was on TV, but um, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're done. But like
Yeah, they should be. I
the
hope
last
so.
two Pirates movies and the last three were like not. I personally like At World's End. I think is what the third one was called, but like
Mhm.
yeah, the last two were garbage. But other than those two, over the past 5 years, I can't really think of much else that's really that bad and what makes me, not feel like Disney should really change what they're doing.
Right. I mean, they're doing it great. And the thing is, they make so many different variety of the movie. It's
Mhm.
almost getting to the point where you're like, oh man, wait, Disney made that movie too? Disney
Yeah.
made this? Disney, because I mean, Disney's got, Star Wars coming out. And then it's like, oh yeah, by the way, in case you're not a huge Star Wars fan, the three of you that aren't going to see the Star Wars movie, here's Coco also, which is also a
Yeah.
really good movie, and it's like, oh my God. I mean, they're on it, which is great, but I don't know. It's almost like they're too good. You're trying to find flaws.
Yeah, and like and it's funny because in like around the time Iron Man 3 and Through the Dark World came out, like those two right back to back wasn't the best pairing.
Mm.
People were starting to feel, oh, a bit of the superhero fatigue because two
Right.
right in a row that weren't that good. Man of Steel wasn't that great either.
Yeah,
So
they're
just
kind of like
superheroes in
over
general
it.
weren't really at their best at that point, and people are
Hmm.
not at all concerned about that right now. Like Deadpool
Right.
revitalized the genre. Civil War, all of the Captain Americas, Guardians of
Oh
the
yeah.
Galaxy, Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther is one of the highest grossing movies of all time. So
Yeah.
people who are still saying there's superhero fatigue, get out, you're wrong.
The superhero fatigue thing only affects if it's not always hitting. If you miss, then it starts setting in. But I mean, like the last superhero movies, I mean, bang, 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 and
I mean,
we
Justice
got
League,
yeah.
but
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Disney slash
fair enough.
Marvel superhero
Fair
movies
enough.
have all been bang recently, and you got Avengers coming
Mm,
up. So I mean, like that's gonna. I mean, if that's not a bang, which there's no
I don't
chance
know how that's
almost.
possible.
That's what I'm saying. Like at this point, I'm already liking the trailers more than some movies I've seen. So
Eh,
I mean,
eh, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'd rather watch a trailer than a 2 hour Hulk or
Like
movie or something like
I'm not
But
I'm not gonna be mad if it's not in my top five. I'll be, I guess, a little bit disappointed, but like I'm not gonna be mad because the top five is like, oh,
they are
like,
all good
oof,
movies. And
oof.
when I think about it, I'm like, oh, I had to take one of these down now. It's
Yeah,
like, oh, whoa.
yeah, like,
Like, it's like your prize shelf. And it's
mm,
like, oh,
but if it's not in my top 10, then I'll be upset.
okay.
Which I don't think
Yeah.
that's like if
Yeah. But
it's
I
not as
mean,
good as Ant Man, because Ant Man I think was my number 10, which might be Iron
yeah.
Man at this point. I don't know, but still, if it's not better
In
than
that
Iron Man,
range, yeah.
if it's not better
It's,
than Iron Man, like there's there's a problem there.
yeah.
I
I
don't
mean,
think it's gonna happen, but like if it does,
and I mean,
then
it
we'll
seems
talk.
like it's gonna have elements from all these top-rated movies. It's in Wakanda, like a good portion of it. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's already got like Black Panther's in that top five already. So that's a bit. I
True.
mean, so like it's like okay, let me take the best parts of all your favorites, and we're just gonna like put it all in
Mm-hmm.
there. And like, so I'm not, again, I know I said top three earlier, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to stick with that because I also do think it'll be up there. But like again, if it's not, I will definitely be surprised. But I
Wait,
mean,
so
yeah,
you're expecting this movie to be better than the first Avengers?
yes,
Okay. At least in your
yes,
eyes.
yes.
Got it.
Okay, so because you look at my top three, it was Civil War, the Avengers movie, and then it was
Winter
Winter
Soldier was two.
Soldier.
Yeah.
Or if yeah, okay, those three though. That's what I
Uh,
mean. Like those three. So like I'm expecting this movie to be better than one of those.
fair enough.
And that is, I mean,
That's saying
that's
a
where I'm
lot.
going. I mean, and I know that's a lot. I know that's a lot of pressure on this movie. But then again, I this movie looks great.
It would just be the greatest thing ever if at least for your list, because I personally don't think I'm gonna like it more than Thor Ragnarok, just because I love Thor Ragnarok. But like,
Hmm.
it'd be funny if your list, if it did knock Avengers out, the top three would be Russo brothers movies.
That's what I'm saying. And the Russo brothers have been on fire.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, so like, it's not really a bad thing. I know people can be like, "Oh, you're doing all the recent movies. Oh, you're such like." And I
but
mean,
they're good.
that's what I'm saying. Like, that's like, I mean, I'm sorry that I have a good opinion on movies. I'll try better next time? Question mark. Like, I mean, I don't know, man, but it's just, I mean, they're doing really well. Because, I mean, Civil War is super good. I mean,
Mhm.
you got Winter Soldier super good, and like, and it's not like I'm like everything else is trash. I mean, Black Panther's right there, Thor Ragnarok's right there.
Mhm.
Like, uh, I don't know. Like, depending on the day, who knows? It might change. Like,
Yeah.
it might, like, we might update. You think we should like update like the top five after it comes out or something like
Oh
that
yeah.
after
Oh
a
yeah.
while?
Like
Or
we'll
like,
try to rank it and just like,
yeah,
oh no, like a whole might be a whole different list at that point.
it's like okay, so every spot has changed.
Yeah. Like I have this feeling that I think my top five was from five up: Black Panther, Age of Ultron, Winter Soldier, Ragnarok, Civil
Mm-hmm.
War. I have this feeling that if Avengers or Infinity War is gonna knock Age of Ultron out, it'd be number four, but Black Panther will still be number five.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know because I'm trying to think. It was either Black Panther
or
or
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok
Oof.
to go down, and it's like
Oh,
these are all really good movies, though.
oh
It's like,
no.
I know it's like the impossible choice. Like, who do I take down from this highest of thrones? And it's like,
Like,
but like I can list off the top of my head so many things about these movies I love, and
mm-hmm.
it's like Get Help, but Wakanda Forever, and it's like but but
That giant
I don't
battle in
know.
both like oh
I know. And it's like,
oh
dude, they're so. I don't know, man. I don't know.
like
I might have to do it. I might have to have a top six. I don't know.
like being in the top 10 is one thing, but like that
Right.
there's something feels special about being in the top five, and then even more so about the top three. Just
Yeah. For me, like that top five, they're all kind of like within like a point of each other. Like they're so close,
mm-hmm.
all of them. So it's like it's the tier. It's like the top five's a tier, then kind of like that top 10 to 12 ish, and then it's pretty much the rest.
Yeah.
And all right, you guys are cool, you guys are actually good, and you guys, that's my baby sec. Like
Yeah.
those are sacred. It's like I feel like I have to just make the sacred section bigger because I can't necessarily take one off. I don't know.
That's fair.
We'll get there. We'll get there in May after we've seen Avengers probably
Yeah.
a couple times.
Might need a couple of days for it to like fully marinate and like
Oh
where
yeah.
like maybe the one after we actually do our like full on review.
Yeah.
We'll, like try
Yeah.
to
Do
figure that out.
some mourning maybe. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Like
Oh
like
my
a funeral
gosh.
for the one that was taken out.
It's like I wanna apologize before I get through. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Probably gonna have to rewatch some of them too.
Yeah. Like ugh. I keep telling myself like I'm gonna rewatch that the immigrant song scene from Thor Ragnarok And then like I get to my laptop and I just forget. And then I go to the bathroom like I'm gonna watch that now, and I get my laptop and I just forget.
And you're just like, oh wait, what? It's like new TV spot for Infinity War, what? And then just gone forever.
Yeah. Or
Oh
not
my
even that,
gosh.
just something on Twitter just
Yeah,
catches
just
my just
general, you're just gone.
yeah.
Been there, man.
Yeah. Ugh. So yeah, Deadpool 2 is looking pretty good.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what this
that's
was
what we were
about.
talking about. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. Deadpool 2, I'm excited.
Ugh. Okay.
Uh,
So sticking on the Disney train, which I honestly, when I was making this list, I forgot Indiana Jones was part of Disney technically, so I probably should have put this in the Disney section. But whatever, who cares?
that's fine.
Indiana Jones 5 will start filming next April.
I mean, I don't know how to feel.
Yeah,
What part of me, I mean,
Shia
Indiana
LaBeouf will
Jones,
not be in it. I think we can pretty much guarantee that much.
which is good, which is good. But still, there's this hesitance in my being that's just kind of like, how are we gonna go about? I mean, I don't know. I'm a little worried because I mean, I love Indiana Jones, but that last, oh,
As long
I'm
as they
still kind
don't nuke the fridge, I think we'll be fine.
but but will they though?
Like
Like
if
we
we
don't
take
know.
if we take what Disney has done with Star Wars, which has been, I'll say divisive, which is the
Yeah,
actual way to use the term divisive. BVS was
right.
not divisive. This was Force Awakens was divisive. Like most people liked it, but there's the subset of purists who didn't.
Hmm.
Um, if we take although I have a feeling there's not nearly as many purists for Indiana Jones. Of course, everyone hates the fourth one because it's the fourth one, but
Right.
like
Yeah.
there's not going to be like the subsect of people who just go into Indiana Jones 5 expecting to hate it, therefore they will, like people did with Force Awakens.
No, I mean, I doubt it, but still, I don't know. I mean, that last Indiana Jones movie was
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Harrison Ford's coming back one more time. Like they say this one, I think they say this one will actually end the series. And maybe I think after this they're either rebooting it or they're starting a new Indiana Jones like saga with a new
mhm,
main character. Maybe. I
interesting.
I think I heard
Uh,
that a while ago. I don't remember, but so
it's untitled right now, right? It's still
I think so. Yeah, it's
okay.
just Indiana
Yeah,
Jones 5 at this point.
right. Okay. I mean, I don't. I mean, it has. Like, I don't know how it's gonna go. Obviously, I mean, we have
Mm,
nothing to base off of other than, hey, Harrison Ford, go
yeah.
kick in. Which I'm okay because I mean, it's Harrison Ford. Like, I'm not. I mean, I can't not like Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just I don't know. I got to see
Yeah.
something. I have to see something else or hear more news about it before I know how to feel about it yet. Because right now
Yeah.
I'm still on the fence. It's like I've
Yeah.
been
Same.
burned once. I don't want to get burned again.
Mhm. Then again, the prequels though.
Well, that's different
How is
though.
that different?
Because
We got burned 3 times and they came back and actually did it well.
but I mean, it's Star Wars though. Like,
I don't. I get it, but at the same I get it, but at the same time, Indiana Jones has like it doesn't have the same like kind of history that Star Wars does, but like
yeah,
they have a similar like lifespan essentially. They both started out in like late
right,
'70s, early '80s, and
right.
then had a revival movies in the mid
I mean,
2000s,
I don't.
and
I
then
mean, I
Disney
don't.
bought them, and they're making new ones.
Right. I mean, I guess I don't know. I I don't know why. I'm still skeptical. I don't know why.
That's
Maybe because Indiana Jones was just like I don't know. Like I've seen it done right and I've seen it done wrong, and of course I've seen it done wrong most recently. So
yeah.
I just
And also, I guess it is kind of different because Indiana Jones 5 is taking place, I guess, directly after 4, whereas
right,
Force Awakens is taking place directly after one we got 30 years ago and not the
right.
prequels.
It's like it's not touching these prequels that are
Hmm.
it's far. It's in a galaxy far away. Like
Yeah.
so, I
Say the
mean.
least.
Yeah, but I mean, and I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm being too hard on it because I mean, at the end of the day, it's not even the same. It's gonna be totally different, but at the
Yeah.
same time, I don't know. I need just a little something just to kind of feel more assured. I think
Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll see about that, I guess. Well, I mean, I'm guessing we'll get a trailer sometime next
probably next year.
summer,
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know. Whenever they finish
probably.
filming.
'Cause it's like what June next year, or not next year, but 2020.
That
I think. I mean,
sounds right.
okay, July actually.
July? Okay.
Apparently, yeah.
July
Oh, but oh,
2020.
they got yeah, but they do got John Williams on the music, so I okay.
Nice.
There you go.
Nice.
There. Okay. See. That's see. I just needed a little
A little something.
something. Now I'm a little bit more like because I know they're gonna have that classic theme
Yeah.
going,
Yeah.
which
Did John Williams score the prequels?
I believe so. Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah, I know,
sure.
of course, his song was used for the intro scroll, but not. I don't think he did Duel of Fates. Maybe he did.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Like something tells me they had some
Oh,
kind of out. They had some outside director come in for Duel of Fates. I'm not
of
sure
the
about that.
Fates. Let me check. Duel of Fates. John
Which
Williams.
is, which I personally feel is arguably one of like the
Yeah,
only good parts of the prequels.
yeah, that was John. Yeah, John Williams was on
Okay.
Duel of the Fate. Yeah, he was
Okay.
on.
Cool.
Yeah, because I mean that's literally one of, like other than like the Imperial March and the Binary Sunset.
Yeah.
Like that's like what you think of music wise when you think of Star Wars. It's
Oh yeah.
like
Like when
oh,
I booted up Star Wars Battlefront 2, the good one. Um, uh, when the title screen starts playing Duel of Fates, I'm not even mad because that song gets me hyped. Even though
yeah,
it's connected to these trash tier movies, it's still like I'm still excited just to hear this song.
yeah, dude. I mean, it gets you into it, especially like oh, you're like loading up the map. You're like, oh, it's going down. We're about to lead into battle. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like you enter the battlefield with a Jedi or something. Just like
Mhm.
as you do flips in the
Yep.
terrible graphics, but uh, still such a good game though. So
Oh yeah.
classic.
Oh yeah. Actually, that was a really good transition into our next to last topic. So Star Wars Battlefront 2, the bad one, you know the whole debacle it had with the whole loot boxes and
Mm-hmm.
characters that costed way too much money and you essentially had to
Mm-hmm.
pay to get them.
Yep.
So, as of I think yesterday, or maybe it was announced yesterday to happen later this week, EA finally caved and he's gotten rid of loot boxes entirely and has given access to everything to everyone.
Okay, so that's great,
Yeah.
but now
Too
I'm
late.
thinking about the people that like, yeah,
Yeah.
like all the people that like
You were
I would
5 months too late.
that's what I'm saying. Like, think of all the people that have just put all their life and all their, if not money and life, into all of this. And I was like, okay, I love you all this hard work you did, but now it means nothing.
Yeah, you know those 4,000 hours you
Right?
somehow
Like
put into getting
those
Darth Maul? Yeah, this guy
literally
who got the game
weeks.
today could just get him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, literally weeks of your life you are not getting back
Yeah,
mean
that's
nothing.
that's
I mean, that's
I think we calculated one time that's over 16 days of playing
yeah.
straight.
That's what I'm saying. Like no, like
Nope.
60. I mean, that's you're not getting that back.
You're
I mean,
not
you're
sleeping, you're not eating,
literally
you're not going to the bathroom.
no. I
Just
mean, that's 20. That's days stacked on. It was like 16 in like a half day or something like that. Like it was
mhm.
crazy, and it's just like I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it's a good that they finally did it. I feel like it should have been done originally like that, but I
Yeah,
digress.
like
But
I could boot up Steam right now, buy Battlefront 2, the good one, and get into a match on Mustafar with Darth Maul right now for $10
um,
on Steam.
10
Whereas if I
bucks.
bought Battlefront 2, the bad one, back in November, I would have to pay $60, play through crappy servers online for over 4,000 hours, and to hope
Mhm.
the chance that I can either get them through a loot box or get enough credits for playing to actually get them, which is just ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying. At that point, it's not worth it. I
Yeah.
mean, honestly.
Or I
But I
could pay, I
mean,
think it was like $20 just to get one character. Like,
see,
who thought
and
that was a good idea?
that's ridiculous. $20. Like I think it's ridiculous when games are like, oh, $5 for the secret character. Like I thought that was like
Yeah.
no. But when I heard it was like all this like 10, 15, $20 for something, I'm like, I don't even want the game. I don't even know.
Like they touted this game as being everything the first Battlefront wasn't. They were like, oh, it actually has a story mode. It actually has other stuff outside of just online multiplayer. It actually has just modes outside of team deathmatch. It actually has space combat.
Not that anyone played the space battles in the old one anyway.
Yeah.
But
there's actually there's no season pass this time around, which felt like a good thing. However, they instead of doing a season pass, which used to be the worst thing to ever be incorporated into gaming, they invented a new worst thing ever incorporated into gaming.
Don't worry, this thing you hate won't be there. Instead, we're going to use this thing you don't hate yet because you don't know what it is. But you will, don't worry.
And you have to pay even more for the loot boxes if you want to get everything than you would for the season pass anyway.
I mean, it's crazy when you think about it. It's just like, and everyone's just like buying it, like it's nothing. Like they're just like, yeah, I have to, and I'm like, no,
you don't.
No, you don't.
I didn't get Battlefront 2, the good one on Steam. Like,
I mean, honestly, like, I don't know. I mean, I understand. Oh, it's awesome or whatever. I mean, that's great. If you think that's fine. I'm not gonna.
Oh, but you get new The Last Jedi content for free and other maps for free. Okay, that's cool, I guess, but there's no incentive for me to actually go play those maps because I can't play with characters and guns and stuff that I actually want to play with.
It's not. I don't know. I mean. My thing is, if you're gonna just give it out for free later, why would you even not start out that way?
Because they're EA and they like their money.
That's what I'm saying. They just cheated out all these people that are all their money for nothing now.
Yeah, like I think that game sold over 9 million units across all 3 platforms it was on. Which for a Star Wars game, really it should have done more with. The PS4 having over 76 million units install base, Xbox One having over 36, I think, and then PC, there's like over 1 billion PC users out there.
Yeah.
So for it to only sell about 9 million across 3 big platforms for a Star Wars game the month before The Last Jedi came out, that's probably not as much as they should have.
Because they know. They know. EA's making these games. I hate to say it, they're making these bougie games.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. Like, and like the main reason why people didn't buy it was because they didn't want to, they didn't want to support a game with loot boxes.
Right, exactly. And, and the thing is, it's not just buying the $60 game. It's buying the $60 game and all his characters and all the it's gonna be like $100 and something at the end of it if you let it. And people are doing that. And I'm like, well, if you want it to go away, don't buy
it. Yeah. So it's cool, I guess, that EA finally decided to cave and give people what they wanted to begin with. Even though people have been crying since before the game came out.
Right?
To get rid of the stuff, which they kind of fixed it a little bit before launch, but they didn't really fix it. They just kind of altered it to make it a little less
right. But it was still terrible.
Yeah, and that was 5 months ago.
No.
Hopefully that rumor is true and Disney is looking at other people to make Star Wars games.
Because the thing is, again, Disney doesn't need the money, but at the same time, it's like we could do better.
Yeah,
and I think Disney knows that, and they need to be looking at people that are, because EA is just trying to make money. Like that is all EA is about.
All they care about is making money and closing studios that used to make money.
Right.
I think it was Visceral was making a Star Wars game. but they were like, no, you're not making that Star Wars game anymore. Like, and we're just gonna shut you down and allocate the resources to other people.
Right?
It's like, but why though?
It's like, like, okay, I'm sorry. Like,
And yet they own BioWare, the people that made the original Knights of the Old Republic games,
mhm.
and they're just not using them.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they're just taking stuff just to have things that have Star Wars name on it, and then they're just gonna like put it in their little like closet and not even use it. I'm just like,
It's
then again, if they made a game like that, you probably have to play what, like 50,000 hours to be Darth Raven or something like that. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
it's yeah, I don't know. So yeah, for them, I guess, for what they did. Like, I don't like it. Like, I don't like that it's so late, but I at least a tiny sliver of me appreciates the fact that they did something.
I mean,
I
maybe they
guess
finally get it.
maybe
Even though for some reason they didn't for months,
maybe
but I don't know. I don't know, but
who knows?
hopefully Disney's just like, don't make our games anymore.
Yeah,
That's what I'm hoping.
yeah.
But
Like, surely there's something in the contract to like say if your games aren't good, we can back out of this. So they're,
yeah.
and I'm pretty sure it's Disney who is to say if these games are good or not.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like Disney's definitely has the control wearing the pants. Like
Yeah, and also they're Disney.
like
Like, you gotta listen to them. Like, EA is a rich
yeah.
company, but they're not Disney.
But I mean, but who is Disney, honestly?
The
Disney.
dude, the head of Amazon, is like almost as rich as Disney.
Okay, that's fair. But I mean, then again, it's Amazon, so I
He's
mean,
the richest man on the planet and has over $100 million in assets. And Disney has like $150 million in assets. I'm like, wow.
man, literally all that, and I can't even pay my tuition, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
But
Oh well.
oh well, that's fine. Everything's fine. Yeah, but that they gotta up their game, or they're. I mean, hopefully they just get replaced, but I don't know, something.
That'd be preferable. So, last order of business. Have you actually watched Rick and Morty?
I have seen parts of it. I have not seen all of it. No.
Okay. Like, parts of season one, or just like parts of like episodes here and there? Just
Mostly season one. I've
okay.
seen. I think I did see a finale of a different season. I didn't know the context of.
Okay. I mean, if
Yeah.
it's the one I'm thinking of, like, it does context doesn't really matter. But
Okay.
um so essentially at the end of season two, there was a stinger where one character who hasn't been in that season for a while um came back and was like, well, like, see ya in about a year and a half. And then literally a year and a half later, season three came out. And then that character wasn't in season three at all. And then at the end of season three, the stinger, this character was like, I don't know when the next season's coming out, so I guess we'll see you in a very long time. Like, just kind of referencing that. However, apparently, Rick and Morty season four hasn't actually been ordered by Adult Swim yet.
What?
I get, like, my theory is that, the whole Szechuan sauce incident,
Yeah.
and like other, like, there's that weird copy pasta that was going around Twitter and YouTube that was there's just, Pickle Rick stuff. Like, it's all funny in context of the show, but like when the fan base is like centered around these obscure jokes and are just
Right.
irritating and annoying and stupid about it, I could understand why Adult Swim would want to like kind of back away from that for at least a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my thing is that like Adult Swim, Dragon Ball Super just ended.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, right now Adult Swim doesn't have much else really to go off of from my knowledge.
Yeah.
But at least not at this level. So, I mean, and Rick and Morty it's pretty popular. Like
Oh
it's
yeah. Like,
oh,
season
like
three
it's
wasn't as popular just because it had different writers, and like I personally really liked it,
mhm.
but I could understand how people of the first two seasons wouldn't like it as much because it was more what's the opposite of episodic? Or like
Oh goodness.
crap. Because Rick and Morty season 1 and 2, they were more or less episodic, where like every episode was its own own story. Where season 3, I guess serialized, is that? No, that's not right. Whatever that word is. Essentially it had more of a plot all the way through. And,
Mm-hmm.
you actually got to learn more about these characters, and they weren't just a bunch of inside jokes. Essentially, they actually kind of flesh out the characters a bit, which I
Yeah.
could understand why like hardcore fans of the show wouldn't really love that. But at the same time, I actually really liked it. But again, like each their own. But like I think the show as a whole did take a bit of a dip in ratings, but like that happens with every show by season 3. Like
Yeah.
I think
Usually.
with I think I don't know if there's been a show period that's like after the first season it hasn't taken a little bit of a dip. So it's
I
still
mean,
insanely popular. Like it was
yeah.
still really
Yeah.
popular show.
It's huge. Yeah. I mean, you see it. I mean, you see the shirts and stuff all over the place,
Mm-hmm.
maybe for making reference and stuff. That random person yelling, "I'm Pickle Rick!" Like,
Yeah.
there's everybody, or like even this. There was this kid that one of my professors brought their son in the class, and he's like, "Oh, I get riggedy riggedy Rick," and the
Oh.
whole class erupted. Because like I was so surprised that happened. I was not prepared for that
Why
at
is this
all.
kid watching Rick and
I thought
Morty?
that was kid like bet like this kid's like 9 tops.
Okay.
Like there's no way this kid should be watching this show, but it's
Like even the
fine.
censored version, this kid should not be watching.
No, not at all. I was like, whoa, this kid should. I thought we were all just like, this kid should not know these things. Like, oh, oh, yeah. But I mean, but like everybody watches it, and it's so popular. So it's like, why would you not? I mean, I guess maybe I mean, what are they really concerned about though? Because I mean, that's the best thing they've
Uh,
got going for them by far.
yeah, like I said, there has been all those debacles recently with the fan base as a whole. Like this fan base honestly is a little like I don't really like using the term toxic when like talking about fan bases, but like
Mm,
there definitely is like a really really hardcore group of Rick and Morty fans that are I would honestly call them kind of toxic, or like people who aren't already in the Rick and Morty fandom don't want to get into it because of these
right.
idiots. And I
They're
think Adult Swim maybe kind of saw that, and they want the dust to settle a bit. That way, when season 4 is finally announced, it can like actually be a big deal again.
right. Yeah, maybe that is a strategy they're going to. And I guess, I mean, and Adult Swim's never been like, like boom, huge, huge, like at
Yeah,
least not lately. So, I mean, I guess they are giving a little sabbatical, let the fan bases kind of chill out, and then kind of like, I don't know, but like, hmm. I don't know. Some shows I don't understand how like some shows year after year they get another season, and some shows take like
yeah,
years in between and stuff like that. Because there's
yeah.
like you got like Grey's Anatomy's going for like what like
The
eighteen
the
seasons
X
or
factor
whatever.
here is that shows like Adventure Time, Rick and Morty, Steven Universe, Gravity Falls, even
Hmm.
shows like these that are disrespected by their networks. All the shows that is listed are animated shows. Stuff like
Hmm.
Grey's Anatomy, House MD, Big Bang Theory. Like all I know
Oh my
House MD
goodness.
was canceled, but it had 8 seasons. And like there's so many shows that really aren't that good, yet they consistently get season after season with less and less ratings
Right.
because they're live action and they feel it's more marketable for
Right.
some stupid reason.
Right. And I mean, Arrow got renewed for a 7th season because everyone's watching that, right? And I mean, that's what like, I mean, and it's just like, I think people just, I didn't realize people still do this, but a lot of people still just relate animated with kid stuff,
Rick and
which
Morty is not kids stuff.
that's what I'm saying. This show is not for children.
Yeah, like
That 9-year-old should not
and
know the things he
if you
knows.
watch something like Gravity Falls, there is stuff like even I think the show started when I was oh like crap, I think I was 13. Oh no.
Is it
I
really that
think it
old?
came out in 2012.
Battle? Really? Yeah, I'm about
Six.
to feel real
Oh,
old in
I
a
was like
second.
13, 14 when it started coming
Oh
out.
my gosh, you're right. It is 20.
Ah,
Oh,
like even
dude.
then, there was still stuff that kind of went over my head until I started looking deeper into it.
Hmm.
So, so having like saying that Gravity Falls, like it's, I guess it's technically more so catered to kids, but
Yeah,
it's a show that everyone can enjoy on multiple
right.
levels. And for it to only get shafted and have two seasons solely because Disney XD did not give it its due justice, its due diligence.
It's
Just
ridiculous.
and also that mess with my OCD because like only got a show that focuses around the third journal, only got two seasons.
Right.
Like you could have easily had, season one be the third journal. Like the box set would have the three DVDs, each one having a
Right.
different number on it. Like,
Yeah.
oh, so easy. You just didn't. Nope, you didn't think that through.
Yeah.
You didn't think that through,
Yeah.
Disney.
Mm. I mean, and it's just like, I mean, and I realized that it kind of ended and got to like an ending, but like they
It
obviously
was
didn't have
rushed.
to end it.
It
Yeah,
was
like it was
rushed.
all you could obviously tell it's like, okay, guys, we got to pump the brakes of the
Mm-hmm.
show because I mean, you can obviously still go into it because I mean, like Phineas and Ferb, they're over a summer. They're in summer for like 8 years.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like
And like
I
I
mean,
think that's just the way that show was written. Alex Hirsch originally wrote Gravity Falls to be a three-season show with a beginning,
right,
middle, and end,
right,
with the big reveal at the mid of season two to be um to essentially be the end of season two, and then
right.
season three be more Bill Cipher stuff, and season
Mhm.
two like two be more mystery stuff, and season one just be introducing characters.
Yeah,
Like
characters
it
like
just
the
it had a
occasional
natural
mystery.
flow to it. Whereas they essentially had to rush everything he had in mind for season two into like three episodes, and it just
Hmm.
didn't really work out the way it should have, and it
Right.
just
And you
felt
know,
super rushed.
and I hate when they rush the really good shows because it's
Mm-hmm.
like this it's so much potential and
Yeah.
like everyone likes the show. Like
Mm-hmm.
no one's like, oh, the show needs to go. Like the show is really smart. Like the fan base super got into it with all the riddles and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
that made the writers more into it. They
Oh yeah.
add more riddles and stuff.
No,
Like,
another show that I'm just really frustrated at his network is Adventure Time. That
hmm,
show, after its like fifth season, it just started not airing consistently. Like
right.
at one point, that was like one of the cornerstone shows they showed every single Friday night or
Hmm.
every Thursday night, whenever like their night of new shows
Yeah.
was. And then after like midway through season six, they just kind of stopped doing that. And
Yeah.
then they started with the whole like Adventure Time in Steven Universe bombs, where like they would show 5 episodes a week
Hmm.
and then like nothing for a couple of months, and then 5 episodes, nothing. And so now they're on season 10. The show is ending soon. And from the promos, like essentially I like where it's going, but it just doesn't really feel like this the way the show like the way the commercials are looking like it's ending. It
Hmm.
doesn't look like that's how the original show should have ended.
Right. Like they're taking off a different tangent because of what's been happening lately. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, and it's so. I hate when they do this to shows because it's not the way it was supposed to be good. And like the shows are still amazing, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like if you had done this the right way, it would have been just perfectly the
Yeah.
way it was meant to be.
Yeah. And like with Adventure Time, there very easily could be some big twists like in
Mm,
this last big bond that we just don't see coming, but I just the way they're setting it up, the like they in season 10 they set up this new like essentially like team of bad guys that are like closely connected to Princess Bubblegum, and like essentially the final battle will
mm,
be like it'll be essentially be like a big battle sequence between the two
right.
teams, and like that's cool. I would love that as a season finale. It just doesn't feel like the wholesome, Adventure Time show that it started out as, with with
Right.
some like dark apocalyptic elements kind of thrown in the background. It just kind of feels like it's not that show anymore, which I get it, like as the show progresses, your vision can change, but I feel like I kind of feel like the vision was forced to change because of how the studio
Mhm.
made the show go. And the same thing is, it's not happening in the same way with Steven Universe, but similar to that, how they, like every 6 months there's 5 episodes, and
Right.
sometimes they have 5 episodes shown on the app, and then an episode airing before those episodes actually air on TV, but that episode directly follows these episodes. So if like,
Right.
what are
And
you
it's
doing,
super
Cartoon
out of
Network? What are you
order.
doing?
Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like you could do it so much better, and and I hate, and that's like the ultimate disrespect for a show when you like force it to like be on an app on the, because like I remember they did that with Legend of Korra, and they just
Oh,
like
don't even start it on that.
they just shut it down, threw it on the internet, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
There are
Like
so
you
many
just
cool ways you could go with Avatar. You could have Avatar twins. You could have an evil Avatar. You still need two other avatars to round out Fire and Earth. Just you
OCB kicked
need
out.
there are so many other ways you could go with the Avatar mythos, and because of the way Nickelodeon shafted pretty much all of Legend of
Uh-huh.
Korra, like from the finale of season one, because the writers, they thought they just had one season. That's all Nickelodeon
Right. That's
said.
what
But
they were
because it was so
done.
popular, they're like, you need to write it so that a season two can happen. They're like, oh, I guess we got to rush this now.
Yeah.
So, ugh, or so yeah, because of that, or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe they thought they were getting 2 seasons, and then they were told last minute they couldn't, and then they're actually greenlit for a second one. Regardless, they got screwed over. And then
Right.
season two was kind of iffy because of that, and season three was actually pretty good. But then halfway through season three, they took it to the app, and then season four was terrible
And
ratings because it was on the app that no one cared about. Like, why?
right. And the thing is, like, season three, like, especially the villain for season three was, I
Oh
think, the
yeah,
best villain. And
oh
like,
yeah, I love Zahir.
I know he's so into, like, he's so, especially when he learned how to fly, that he was
Hmm.
legit. But like, I mean, it's literally like the show's doing so great, and then you're just gonna, yeah, we're just gonna not air it anymore.
Yeah.
Just gonna completely put it on the website, which no one's gonna look for.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, like, come on, they don't do that. Like, that's just the ultimate disrespect as a show, especially when the show's doing great and like
Mm-hmm.
people love this show. And you're just replacing it with, reruns of other shows that have been airing all day long,
And other
like
stupid new series like Sanjay and Craig and the Breadwinners. Oh my
Breadwinners,
gosh.
yeah. Or what was that one show that made up? What was, Harvey Beast or something like that? Something
That's
like
actually not
that.
that bad. It's just
It
kind of
is?
there.
Okay, I haven't seen that show, but I
Like, I haven't,
like
like, I think I watched like one episode. It was fine. It was watchable. Like, it didn't really. I don't think it's airing anymore, just
mhm.
because it didn't hit any particular niche. So
Right, but I mean, they
it's
have
just.
all these shows that just they're on for like a week and then they just disappear.
Mhm.
Like there's like one show where it's like, was it like pig crickets? I'm like something
Oh yeah.
like
I did not leave space in my brain for that information to stay. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like those kind of shows that just
yeah.
exist for
Like,
whatever reason.
when you have a sequel series to objectively the best show ever created in Avatar: The Last Airbender, that's not an overstatement. That is not an exaggeration. Avatar: The Last Airbender is the best show ever created. Fight me on that.
I will not fight you. But
Exactly.
no, I mean especially definitely Nickelodeon. Like I know, like don't get me wrong, SpongeBob is like great and all, but I mean obviously it falls off a cliff at a
Yeah.
certain point. Where Avatar is, only gets better to the
Yeah.
point where it's legit
Yeah, like, I
perfection.
can
So I mean,
understand you not loving season one, but season two and forward, just, oh my gosh, it's so good.
this show pretty much invented character development. Like I mean, like
Yeah, you're not
oh
really
my
wrong.
goodness. I mean, like it's like
It
that,
perfected
and,
it. It's perfected it at least.
right, and it's like it's like at the end of the day, it kind of is a kid show, but it's like it's just it does it so well, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah, it's like the perfect medium between a show that kids can love and enjoy, and a show that teenagers can appreciate because it's
Right.
action and other themes that are more suited to them, and also adults can appreciate it too for the deeper themes and just character development, and like every single age range, as long as you can read and like actually follow characters. I'll say like
Yeah.
6 and up. Everyone from like maybe 7 and up. Like this show is for you
Right.
if
It's
you're
got
7 and
something
up,
for
and that's
everybody.
insane.
Yeah. It's got something for everybody. I mean, it's that good, and it's just nah, we'd rather watch these other shows that'll be on for, maybe a year and then we'll get rid of them and pretend no one remembers them.
Maybe.
It's fine.
Like and I'm sure the movie, that trash pile of a movie, didn't help Cora's case either.
No, but I mean, it's like the thing is, everyone that loves the show knows the movie's trash.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not like the fans are disheartened by Avatar, like they lost faith. It's just they know the movie was terrible.
Yeah, it just couldn't branch out more so into the mainstream because the movie.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah. Bring it back around. Hopefully, Rick and Morty season 4 can hopefully that'll eventually happen. As
I'm
of right
confident
now,
it
there's
will.
no like. I think Dan Harmon said he's like making episodes in the background, but like it's not. They're not necessarily like projected to be on Adult Swim as of this moment. But so worst case scenario, we might just get Rick and Morty just in a different form or like on a different service. So I mean, I personally want more of the show, but like
Yeah.
if Adult Swim for some reason doesn't see it, I don't think the show's gonna go away per se.
No, someone's gonna get it.
Yeah.
So if they don't want it for whatever reason, I mean,
Yeah. Like
they're
I could
lost.
see something like Netflix picking it up.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Mm.
Especially knowing all the shows they're gonna lose once Disney gets their streaming service on. Like
That is true.
that'd be a huge pickup for them.
Oh yeah. Oof. Okay. Talked about a lot of stuff this week. Is there anything else you want or need to bring up? Anything else you just want to gush about?
No. I mean, if you haven't seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, stop watching and go watch
It's
it.
coming out on Blu-ray later this year. Just wait for it on Blu-ray. You'll even if the $30 box set at Walmart, just buy that. Like it's worth it.
I'm gonna say it is totally worth it. I'll buy it for you. No, I won't. I'm poor, but
So yeah, if you haven't seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, just buy the show. Don't stream it. Like actually buy the DVDs once they come out,
have
or
it
if you can
in
find
your
them.
home, in your
Yes.
dwelling. It will make your life better.
Yes, just their presence will just make you feel better. Ugh. Okay. And with that, we will see you all next week.
Take care.
Well, Spendy Ball of Death. Okay.